Chapter 11:22, Kid, let me out. Chapter 11:22, Kid, let me out. With the heavenly tribulation activated, no one could stop it. There are two ways to stop. Either Long Fei succeeded in his tribulation, or Long Fei would die. Only these two possibilities would stop the celestial tribulation. However, Long Fei never thought that the heavenly tribulation would stop. If the God's general does not die, the heavenly tribulation cannot stop. Even if there was only one God's general left, his power was more than enough to destroy the entire God's martial continent. God's general, have you tasted the taste of watermelon before? Long Fei shouted. At this time, the hearts of the God's general sank, and they became a little afraid. At this moment, Long Fei took a step forward and suddenly appeared in front of a few God's general, laughing. Big watermelon, one cut. Rumble! The third wave of heavenly tribulation descended. The body of a celestial tribulation was split in half. Ha ha ha! The watermelon cut open the stomach. Rumble! Long Fei crashed down from the sky, his legs bent, his face gloomy and white, his hair black. Even if he had to kneel, make him lower his head. However, Long Fei stubbornly resisted and did not lower his head, nor did he kneel. Boom, boom, boom. Puffed. Unable to endure it any longer, Long Fei spat out another mouthful of fresh blood. His body sank slightly, and with great force, he flew into the air once again. Honestly, Long Fei was very unhappy. He was dissatisfied with the God's general, and even more dissatisfied with the heavenly tribulation. If one were to say that these God's general were so high and mighty, then this heavenly tribulation was like playing with people. To these God's general, this tribulation was but a toy to them. He could do whatever he wanted. Come on. Long Fei glared at him. Come again. Too arrogant. God's general thought Long Fei was talking about them. All of them were extremely unhappy. They had never encountered such a situation before, let alone being severely injured in such a low realm. In just a few short minutes, 6 God's general had fallen. This was something that had never happened before. Even in the higher planes, it was impossible. This made the God's general extremely angry. Suddenly, a God's general flew out and shouted, Kid, let's see how arrogant you can be. Buzz. The voice disappeared, and a powerful force pressed down on Xiang Long Fei. At this moment, the other celestial tribulation struck out as well. He let out a loud shout. I have to kill you. We need to speed up the purification process. The other God's general quickly circulated the power in their bodies. On the God's martial continent, there were constant cracks in the ground, and volcanoes erupted, causing an enormous tsunami to engulf the entire shore. People continued to lose them. The purification was never broken. Hanba suddenly said, Then I am begging the heavens to send down an even more powerful heavenly tribulation. And also, the heavens even agreed to it. Boy, how unlucky are you? Long Fei said, Hanba, my bad luck is yours. Do you think you can escape? Hanba. He was speechless again. Long Fei ignored him from the start. What Hanba said was not wrong. After the 5th heavenly tribulation, their speed would double, and the power contained within would increase by several fold. Instantly, things changed. It struck right into Long Fei's sea of consciousness. He flipped over the sky and fell to the ground. This time Long Fei was too late to judge the speed at which the heavenly tribulation was falling, resulting in him being unable to react in time, as he was completely unable to endure the impact of this kind of power. Rumble! Long Fei's body sank, his legs crazily trembled, and he couldn't endure it any longer. Senior brother Long Fei. Ling Long gave a loud shout and turned into a vermilion bird, about to fly over. Long Fei immediately shouted out, Don't come over! Anyone! As long as they got close to him, they would be affected by the power of the heavenly tribulation. Even God's general wouldn't be able to resist it, let alone ordinary people like them. Long Fei could not let anyone else die. I can't just watch as the people around me die. Thus, Long Fei could only carry it himself. The God's General S looked at Long Fei, who was trembling and struggling to hold on, and revealed contemptuous smiles, saying, "Brat, you're even crazier. Fighting the heavens. Humph, just a tiny ant like you. Are you worthy? Rumble." Yet another heavenly tribulation descended, one that was even more powerful. At this moment, Hanba let out a long breath and said, "Brat, let me out." Chapter 11:23. Then let me do it. Chapter 11:23. Then let me do it. Long Fei could not take it anymore. He was going to be unable to withstand the power of the sixth heavenly tribulation. It wasn't because he was weak. It was because the heavens had specially taken care of him, and because Long Fei's health point was not even half of his before the tribulation, and her body was in a heavily injured state. 6 consecutive celestial tribulations. Being in the middle of the purification power for such a long period of time, if it was a normal 9th level flying immortal powerhouse, he would not be able to hold on for even 10 seconds. Hanba could not watch any longer. Of course, he really didn't want to follow Long Fei here. "Kid, let me out," Hanba said again. Long Fei laughed sinisterly, blood continuously flowing out of his mouth as he said, "Why should I let you out? Why should I let you out?" Hanba was slightly angered and said, "How many more times can you endure the sky calamity attacks? Do you know what level the heavenly tribulation you endured is? Do you know how many more heavenly tribulations are coming? You don't know anything, do you?" Long Fei didn't know, but Hanba knew, because he was the god of disaster. The heavenly tribulation he experienced was exactly the same as the one Long Fei experienced. Therefore, he was very clear in his heart about what kind of heavenly tribulation Long Fei was going to face. He didn't want to become Long Fei's funeral partner. Long Fei laughed. "So what if I don't know? Hanba, are you afraid?" Hanba said, "This old man is afraid. This old man has never been afraid even after hundreds of millions of years in this crappy grave of the God Emperor, because I knew that there would come a day when I would return to the divinity to kill all those hypocrites, and then I want to enter the battlefield of the ancient gods. I want to go against the will of the heavens and change the rules of this world. I'm not afraid of any of that, but your father, am very afraid to follow you. Because you are not a normal person at all, you are a madman." Hanba was fearless and incomparably arrogant, but this was all because he was strong. Thus, he was not afraid of anything. However, Long Fei didn't give him a strong feeling. It was that of a madman who didn't care about his life. Once they started a war, they would kill the opponent regardless of the cost. Even if the opponent didn't die, they would still do it. If they died, they would ruthlessly ravage the opponent. Long Fei laughed and said, "I never thought that the great god of disaster would be afraid of me. It's actually me. It's actually like this. Then call me boss." Long Fei did not know if he could withstand the heavenly tribulation. If he really couldn't endure it anymore, Long Fei would also let Hanba out in the instant of his death. He would die. He didn't want to implicate anyone else. Hanba had indeed displeased him. They couldn't accept him. Furthermore, the loyalty level was outrageously low. If he were to let it out, it would definitely become a traitor. Hanba's eyes became angry, and he almost roared out and said, "Brat, you're crazy, aren't you? Call you boss." At this moment, Long Fei didn't wait for Hanba to finish speaking before he immediately said, "Amen, so obedient. You really called me boss." Hanba, F*CKU. Long Fei said, "Let's hear it for a bit more. Maybe I will let you go." Hanba immediately scolded. "Damn you!" Then, he immediately became so angry that a flame appeared on top of his head. "You just wait for your death." He was so angry that he didn't want to. Long Fei, however, started to laugh out loud. If Han Ba were to call him boss, then Long Fei really had no confidence at all. He was the god of disaster. Only this allowed Long Fei to feel slightly at ease. Seeing that Han Ba was silent, Long Fei slightly said, "I will let you go." Han Ba was stunned. He seemed not to have heard it clearly and was stunned. Finished, Long Fei straightened his body and roared towards the sky. "Come again." This time, the space between Long Fei's brows tightened as Idea S connected to the sky. In the instant the heavenly tribulation descended, Long Fei's body moved once again. However, his speed was still too slow. Rumble! The seventh heavenly tribulation smashed down, not giving him any time to move at all. It instantly descended and directly poured into Long Fei's sea of consciousness. Long Fei's eyeballs nearly popped out from the pain. Power rushed into his legs. The kneecap was about to be torn apart by the power of the heavenly tribulation. But Long Fei will not kneel. "You want me to kneel for you? Don't even think about it in this life." Long Fei roared out, and then roared again. "Eighth heavenly tribulation, come again!" Rumble! After half a second of brewing, the eighth heavenly tribulation descended. Long Fei used all the strength in his legs, and half of his body was directly inserted into the ground. Those gods' generals sneered. "All right, Long Fei is already crippled. Now it's our turn." The power of purification increases its speed. A plane like this doesn't need to exist anymore. Everything that happens in this plane will be covered up. Buzz, buzz. Golden rays of light exploded as the power of purification circulated even faster. Long Fei originally wanted to use the god's suffering force to annihilate the Calamity God's general, but the current god's suffering force was moving faster and faster to the point where he was unable to make use of it. He could clearly feel his health point trembling. God's martial continent was trembling, the kind of trembling you can't stand. Suddenly, a voice from the Yen Huang ancestor arrived in Long Fei's mind, and lightly said, "Long Fei, the stronger the divine tribulation, the stronger the power you will receive. As long as you can endure the baptism of the divine tribulation, this will be a gift to you." This was also what tribulation was a type of baptism. If all the gods' baptism of power is what would Han Ba do if he killed all of them? As long as you endure it, you will be able to evolve. Long Fei's entire body was covered in blood. As long as you have a heart of a powerhouse one divine tribulation after another, you will definitely be able to resist. A quick glance, and his eyes shook. You must resist slightly. The stronger the celestial tribulation, seems like you have awakened. The stronger you know how to undergo the baptism breaking out of heavenly tribulation, and being reborn with something that could withstand the baptism of heavenly tribulation. You have to endure more pain. It was just a few simple words. You have to endure. How was one supposed to deal with them? Han Ba glanced at the sky and laughed coldly. Really did not know how he could endure it. Boom. What worried him the most celestial tribulation had arrived. They were threatening his brothers. Is it not over? His women. Could it really be entire God's martial God's suffering force? Long Fei can't do it anymore, and asked, "Is there no way to stop it? Are you able to defeat those gods' generals?" Luoshi looked at Han Ba, the corner of Han Ba's mouth. "Can you use the main artifact to help and said, Fei, if you can give me the main artifact, can you let him rest a bit more? I can kill them one by one." Han Ba sucked up the blood essence of one of the gods' without any hesitation and sneered, "And use it. It has nothing to do with me, whether he dies or not." At this moment, however, he was truly a little dumbfounded. "If you could give me your virgin blood, I really can't consider Long Fei." Long Fei became furious and shouted, "Aren't you going to drag me away? Try touching one of them." Long Fei said, Han Ba grinned, very afraid, and laughed, then said, "However, Brat, I am more afraid of your heavenly tribulation. My women have died here one by one. And as long as you can turn over these gods' general, I am willing to pay the price." I never
Hanba
thought
grinned
that the
and
god's
laughed
suffering
sinisterly.
force is leveling
Then let
up.
me out.
Ha! I really have to thank my psychokinesis, spiritual force, and faith in the power of prayer. The celestial tribulation had not weakened. Rather, it had become even more powerful. Even the gods general that were still alive were at a loss. He had never seen such a powerful god's suffering force before. This kind of god's suffering force would not even appear in a high plane, but now it had actually appeared in the god's martial continent. What was going on? Impossible. This is impossible. It's impossible for a paragon's celestial tribulation to appear in a place like this. A god's general's voice trembled slightly. Hanba's eyes turned cold, and he smiled. Not bad. You actually know about the great perfection, heavenly tribulation. You're right, the heavenly tribulation continues to level up. Right now, the heavenly tribulation he is facing is the one at the great perfection stage. I can't believe you didn't think of that kind of power. While he was speaking, Hanba's figure suddenly moved, landing beside those gods' general, and coldly laughed. You all have to pay a price to witness a miracle, right? Hand over your life. Hanba swept the dragon coffin in his hand, then heavily slammed down. Boom, boom. Several gods' general died. Hanba quickly absorbed them and said, I need to increase my speed too. Rumble. The 79th celestial tribulation. Long Fei closed his eyes and remained motionless. He didn't know if he was alive or dead. At this moment, Long Fei was in extreme pain, on the verge of death, but he was holding on with one breath. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just do it. Just do it. Dry heaven, dry earth, dry air. No one can stop me. Long Fei screamed in his heart. Even the heavens cannot, because my name is Long Fei. Rumble. The 80th heavenly tribulation. Is there a final one? Last. Long Fei tried to sense for a bit, and felt that the heavenly tribulation was not about to end. Zhang Xian was astounded. The mind and the sea of consciousness were on the verge of collapse, unable to withstand it. Rumble. The 81st celestial tribulation has descended. It was exactly as Long Fei had expected. It wasn't over. Why is the god's suffering force still wreaking havoc? Isn't there a maximum of 81 heavenly tribulations? Why is that? Heavens, are you going to kill Long Fei? God of scoundrel, you are too despicable and shameless. Big brother Long Fei, big brother Long Fei. The 81 celestial tribulation descended. In the blink of an eye, the 82 celestial tribulations descended. Ha ha ha. So it's really like that. It's really getting faster and faster. The great perfection, heavenly tribulation. How many things that the powerhouse dreams of, I can't even ask for, yet you just happen to meet it. It's just that. Kid, can you bear it? Hanba said with a smile. He could clearly feel that Long Fei was at the edge of life and death. It could be said. He couldn't bear it. This was because the following heavenly tribulation was an elemental heavenly tribulation, stronger than any god's suffering force. Ice element. Rumble. Long Fei's body instantly turned into an ice sculpture. Rumble. Lightning element. The ice sculpture exploded, and Long Fei's body was struck by the heavy lightning. Wind essence. Hurricane crush. Long Fei's entire body was trembling, and in his heart he kept telling himself that he would have to endure one more time. Endure one more time. Endure one more time. Rumble. Element of extinction. A wave of energy struck down, and Hanba's expression sunk as he said faintly, "It's over, he's about to collapse." Boom. Under the impact of the power, Long Fei's health point dropped to its lowest point, leaving behind only a bit of his health point. Ding! System notification. Player's health point is too low. Please immediately add. Ding! Red alert. Player's health point is too low. Please supplement in time. Long Fei's body kept breaking through the limit again and again, but he had endured too much. He couldn't take it anymore. There was only a little bit of health point left, not to mention heavenly tribulation. Even a child beating him with a stick would make him want to meet the king of hell. At this moment, Han Ba suddenly said in a loud voice, "Kid, there's only one out of the 111 complete heavenly tribulations left. If you can withstand them, you can fly into the sky, and if you can't, you will be turned into ashes. You have to hold on." Han Ba wanted to witness a miracle. However, Long Fei could not hold on any longer. In another second, his health point would disappear, and he would die. In the last second, Long Fei was dead for sure. Chapter 11:26. This Father Absolute Immortality. Chapter 11:26. This Father Absolute Immortality, the final celestial tribulation. This was the most powerful of the 111 tribulations. The heavens would definitely not let Long Fei rush over so easily because he was angry. Also, Long Fei only had one last bit of health point left. According to the game's explanation, if this bit of health point disappeared, he would immediately die. With his entire body heavily injured, his health point was already unable to endure the last bit of heavenly tribulation. He couldn't take it anymore. Long Fei looked at them in the blink of an eye, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled up. Everyone needs to be fine. As soon as he finished, Long Fei moved the energy in his body and shouted, "Dragon's force, release." Boom, boom. The dragon's force did not want to leave their bodies, but they were unable to struggle free, so they had to obey Long Fei's orders. "Xiao Fei, boss, boss." All sorts of sounds continuously rang out in the air. Long Fei smiled faintly. "Go back to your original positions. You have already helped me enough." When the dragon's force came out of their bodies, all the Long family disciples revived after absorbing the dragon's power. And it was the same for the 14th dragon ancestor. Long Fei knew that he might not be able to overcome this hurdle. He had to leave this place without worry. As a single dragon's force represented a life. The lives of Long family's disciples also included the lives of their dragon ancestors. Long Fei didn't want to drag them into hell. "Ha ha!" Long Fei laughed lightly and said, "Come, this old one has lived enough." After doing all of this, Long Fei turned around and looked at the sky. Looking at the god's suffering force that had been brewing for a long time, Long Fei opened his hands and closed his eyes, muttering, "In 10 years, this daddy has struck gold." In his 10 years in this world, Long Fei had lived an exciting life every day. There were brothers, there were women, there were family, there was wine, and there was meat, there was even arrogance and hot-bloodedness. Even if he was given another 50 years on Earth, he wouldn't be able to live like this. Enough. He had made a huge profit. Long Fei looked up at the sky and laughed, roaring madly. Come on, what are you hesitating for? Come on. Ha ha ha. Long Fei laughed out arrogantly. Ling Long cried her eyes out. Senior brother Long Fei, senior brother Long Fei. Yunner's face was covered in tears. Lu Luoshi was in so much pain that she wished she were dead. All the girls also cried loudly. Many of them couldn't even make a sound. Long Fei did not dare to look at him, because looking at him made him feel even more reluctance to part. At this time, he already no longer had the chance to live. Death. Long Fei was very calm. He had never thought that he would be so calm in the face of death. Rumble! Rumble! The heavenly tribulation activated, and the sky sank even deeper. The 9-story heaven's strength quickly superimposed together, forming a strong 9-story heaven's power. Rumble! The 111th bolt of divine retribution descended. The entire god's martial continent darkened instantly, turning into a pitch-black night. All of the light was absorbed by the divine tribulation's power. A bolt of Xuana Bai's lightning heavily struck the top of Xiang Longfei's head. Long Fei clenched both of his fists tightly, and tightly. His entire body was trembling. His hair was scattered all over, flying horizontally as fresh blood dyed his entire body red like a demon, and as if he had gone mad. At this moment, Long Fei roared in his heart, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I really don't want to die. 10 years of hard work. In exchange for the life and death brothers, the peerless beauty, and the family that doted on him, all of this would disappear. Long Fei really couldn't accept it. System, is there a way? I don't want to die. Long Fei roared in his heart. There was no response from the system, and it probably had no other options. Boom, boom, boom. The explosive force that came crashing down bit by bit was something that Long Fei could think of no way to resist. Golden body. Do I need to use my golden body again? Useless. Any form of defense in front of the heavenly tribulation would be useless, even if it was the imperishable golden body. This was because the power of the heavenly tribulation would enter one's sea of consciousness and then expand one's entire body. Long Fei's Zhongya gold body could not provide any form of defense. I'm really going to die. I am really going to die. Ha ha. I really can't F** King accept this. Long Fei laughed. Both sides looked up at the sky and said quietly, Heavens, I will F***K your entire family. Rumble. The god's suffering force crashed down. At this moment, Hanba sucked all of the last god's general dry. Looking at Long Fei's face that was filled with unwillingness, he smiled slightly and said, Brat, you won't be interesting if you lose this world. Buzz. Hanba formed a palm with his right hand and placed it on top of the dragon coffin as he roared out, Ah! In this instant, Hanba released all of the energy he had just absorbed from the god's General S and poured it into the main artifact dragon coffin, not holding anything back. His recovered body also quickly turned into a mummy. He was even thinner than before. Kid. Catch. Hanba's right hand pushed forward, and his body also retreated a few steps back. He swayed a few times and seemed to be unable to take it any longer. The dragon coffin pushed the door open. The main artifact emitted a strong light. Hanba shouted, Kid, jump in. At this time, Long Fei no longer had a choice. He jumped straight into the dragon coffin, according to Hanba's words. Boom. The dragon coffin merged together. Hanba grinned, looked at the sky, and said, So what if you're a perfect heavenly tribulation? Your father will still resist. Ha ha ha. The God above us is amazing? Huh. I just don't feel good helping him. What can you do to me? Hanba said, arrogantly. It was unknown if it was because his words had angered the heavens even more, or because the god's suffering force had undergone a change in the last moment when it hit the dragon coffin, or not. Strength mutation. It became a seven-colored light, and the powerful power of main god blasted into it. The sky was splitting apart. The earth trembled. Hanba was stupefied. Clenching both fists tightly, he shouted with extreme displeasure. Was there a use for this? Just a warrior from the lower realms. Is there a need for your main temple to go against him like this? Do you even have any shame? His strength had changed. Hanba was very familiar with this kind of aura. It was the aura of a certain powerhouse. Even main artifact could not handle it. This wasn't the power of heavenly tribulation at all. This was clearly aimed at him. It was a blatant provocation. Hanba cursed, but that did not change anything. The power of the attack struck down. Explosion on the dragon coffin. Long Fei did not do anything inside the dragon coffin. He was still continuously thinking of a way, and upon hearing Hanba's furious words, Long Fei's heart tightened. You must kill me, right? Main temple, right? You must let me die, right? *CKU, Lousy wants to live. Long Fei gritted his teeth, and at this moment, a thought flashed through his mind. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a sharp glint as he laughed excitedly. Bedevilment. The light halo spread out for trillions of kilometers and enveloped half of the god's martial continent, as if a powerful outer space force was forcefully passing through a planet. The scene was a complete mess. Hanba's eyes darkened. He's stronger than I had imagined. Despicable, shameless. This is a fair heaven to target a lower realm martial artist. This is the main temple who loves the world. Laughable, laughable, extremely laughable. I will definitely enter the ancient holy battlefield, and I must completely change the current situation. Main temple. Just you wait. He was very unhappy. He felt pity for Long Fei, because even the current him might not be able to withstand such a power, much less Long Fei. Right now, he wanted to enter the ancient holy battlefield to find that item and the magic tool to kill the sovereign. He wanted to go against the heavens and change the fate of these 100,000 wild universes. Long Fei, Xiao Fei, boss. Countless people were shouting. Their voices were so weak and pale. It was all over. It was as if their hearts had died. Amongst the dragon coffin, Long Fei clenched his teeth, all the blood vessels in his body bursting out. The energy of the 10th level of the god's bone taboo devoured him, and the strong impact of the god's suffering force made Long Fei feel like he was suffering a fate worse than death, as streams of energy exploded from his sea of consciousness. Long Fei became more and more determined. I can't die. I absolutely cannot die. I want to destroy the so-called heavens and the so-called main temple. I can't die. The energy in his body became more and more active as it crazily throbbed, just like a child in his stomach. Ding. System notification. Player's cultivation method is broken. Ding. System notification. Player's war pet system has been broken. Ding. System notification. Player's striking system has collapsed. Ding. System notification. Player's beast transformation system has cracked. As wave after wave of power blasted down, Long Fei's system powers crumbled, his cultivation technique crumbled, and all of his techniques turned to ash and disappeared. The war pet system crumbled. All of the war pet were out of Long Fei's control, including the trolls. The instant the war pet system crumbled, Xiao, by ice and fire, could clearly sense the feeling of Long Fei being separated from them. The giant demons, earth demons, Lei Mo, and Feyre all clearly sensed this feeling. "Boss! Master!" he roared to them. This meant that Long Fei was already dead. "I can't feel my boss anymore. Boss, he—" No, boss will definitely be fine." Xiao Bai rushed forward recklessly, and before he could even get close, he was swept away by a ray of light. He was unable to approach his cultivation. It could be said, Xiao Bai crawled up from the ground, but he still crazily rushed forward. From the moment he was born, the moment he opened his eyes, the first thing he saw was Long Fei following him. He was continuously sent flying. Everyone's hearts sank. Amongst the dragon coffin. Boom. Ding. System notification. Player's body is about to break. Even the devil body can't withstand it. He can't even absorb that energy in his stomach. Long Fei trembled a little, his face a little pale. At a time like this, he really did not want to die. But now, he no longer had any power to resist. He couldn't take it either. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully condensing the embryo. Would you like to release it? Dao embryo? What is this? Is it something inside me? Long Fei did not have the heart to check on these. As long as he was alive, regardless of whether he was a Dao embryo or a nascent soul, there was only one thing he needed to do. Live. Release. Buzz. The moment his voice fell, Long Fei suddenly entered a brand new world, a world he had never been to before, as though he was in an illusion. It also seemed like he was in a mother body. What is this? Where is this place? Long Fei didn't know. He only knew that the god's suffering force was leaving him far, far away and slowly disappearing. At this moment, a system notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for rebirth. Chapter 1128. He is still alive. Chapter 1128. He is still alive, God's martial continent. Everything returned to calm. God's general's body disappeared into thin air, and the god's suffering force that was wreaking havoc in the sky disappeared. If it wasn't a pile of ruins, it would seem as if nothing had happened. The entire world turned silent. Everyone looked at the dragon coffin. Standing in place, he did not dare to move, did not even dare to think, did not even dare to think about the consequences, and did not dare to think whether or not Long Fei was still inside. For a full 10 minutes, there were no sounds from the dragon coffin and Song Qianqian, and the others did not move either. Finally, Xiao Bai couldn't help but walk forward step by step, as if he was facing a great enemy. He carefully approached the dragon coffin and lightly called out, "Boss!" There was no response from the dragon coffin. Xiao Bai's voice rose a little. "Boss!" There was still no response from the dragon coffin. Xiao Bai's body was trembling as he looked at the people behind him. He gathered his courage and gently pushed the dragon coffin away. At this moment, everyone held their breath, clenched their fists, and silently prayed. However, the instant Xiao Bai's claws touched the dragon coffin, Walala, the dragon coffin turned into powder, and with a light bang, it completely collapsed. Han Ba's gaze tensed up, and he softly uttered a question. The rest of them ran over as if they had gone mad, and shouted, "Long Fei, Long Fei, Long Fei," as if he had done something wrong. Xiao Bai laid on the ground, his claws continuously piled up the powder the dragon coffin had dropped onto the ground, and said with a trembling voice, "It's not like that, it's not like that. It must be my hallucination. Boss will be fine, boss will definitely be fine." He seemed to have gone crazy. They kept talking, shouting, and shouting. A disciple of the Long family, dragon ancestor in the sky, Song Qianqian, and the others, the giant demons, and the others all rushed forward. The dragon coffin quickly turned into powder. There was nothing inside other than a pile of powder. A cool breeze blew past. The powder scattered along with the wind, causing Song Qian and the other girls to become even more crazy. They frantically grabbed onto it. It won't, it won't, it won't. His tears were about to run out. They could not accept such a scene. Lu Luoshi's body went limp, and he immediately fainted. The leopard girl was stunned on the spot. Her face was pale, and she could not say a single word. Yun'er cried loudly as she tried to sense the surroundings and used the blood vein to check the surroundings. He could not sense a single bit of Long Fei's aura, and it had completely disappeared. Long Fei's future was blank. There was nothing at all. It was as if there was no one in this world. If it did not exist, it meant that he was already dead. Yun'er cried. Long Zhanting's heart relaxed slightly. And then Long Zhanting asked, "Last question, if you can answer. I will immediately hand over my soul." Death did not seem to be annoyed. "Go ahead and ask." Long Zhanting asked, "Where did my wife go?" The god of death pondered for a moment and said, "This question, I'm sorry, I can't answer that." Long Zhanting was startled. This question was already very clear, and being unable to answer it was the best answer. She had gone to a plane of higher level than the divinity. Long Zhanting said, "Then can you tell me where 8 King Kong is?" The god of death smiled and replied, "They are on the road to rebirth. Don't worry. All of their strengths have been enhanced. Their appearance hasn't changed at all. If your son were to see them, he would definitely recognize them. What I'm afraid of now is they don't know your son. Ha ha ha. Can you hand over your soul now?" Death was a little excited. Long Zhanting faintly said, "Sure." And then Long Zhanting's consciousness moved. At this time, Death God's eyes flashed with a bright light, revealing an extremely greedy gaze, instantly devouring Long Zhanting's soul. But in this instant, Death's eyes suddenly changed. "Long Zhanting, you... Who is the king now? Who is the king now?" Ding. System crash. Ding. System initialization. Ding. System has completed the initialization. Ding. System upgrade. System beep has kept appearing in his mind. Finally, a progress bar appeared in his mind. The progress bar for upgrading the system was like a game update, moving forward bit by bit. It wasn't very fast. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Boom. Long Fei's spirit sense suddenly exploded. His body fiercely flicked. He jumped up from the ground, gasping for breath, his entire body drenched in sweat, his clothes soaked. There was also a sharp pain in his abdomen. The moment he opened his eyes, he was surrounded by a circle of people. He didn't die. He didn't die. He didn't die. Damn, he actually didn't die. Ha ha ha. Wang Tai, you have lost. You have lost. Give me money. Give me money. Mother of asterisk Kerr, I'm going to kill him. I don't care if you kill him or not, but you have to pay him first. Understand? Give me money. Give me money. The surrounding crowd clamored. The people around Long Fei also quickly retreated and joined the clamoring. Wang Tai, you can't even kill a piece of trash, and you've caused us to lose so much money. F asterisk CK, Lousy will accompany you. Wang Tai, a person like you, some kind of outer disciple of the Yuanyang clan, you really embarrassed the Yuanyang clan. Countless people clamored. Countless people cursed. Long Fei sat on the ground and looked around. He had a feeling as if the sky was spinning and the earth was spinning. The noise made him extremely irritable as he shouted loudly, "Where the hell is this?" However, no one answered him. The surroundings looked like a huge underground boxing ring. He was in a cage. At this moment, the two burly men walked into the cage. 009. I didn't expect your life to be so tough. You survived this time. What luck. Damn it, I lost 300 taels. The sturdy man then kicked Long Fei, causing two cracking sounds that caused his bones to break. A heart-wrenching pain spread throughout his entire body. And then the two big-sized men dragged Long Fei out by one leg from the cage. Long Fei wanted to smash his palm onto the big-sized man's back. This kind of person who dared to make a move on him was not even alive yet. He suddenly exerted strength. One palm was aiming for his life, but he suddenly realized that he had no strength left. His palm struck the big-sized man's back, felt like scratching an itch. Moreover, the big-sized man was enraged as he turned around and threw a punch at Long Fei's face. He shouted angrily, "You dog, you're courting death, aren't you?" Bam! After punching Long Fei down, the back of his head smashed into the ground. Bam! His entire brain began to click, and he fainted. Before he fainted, Long Fei stared at the big-sized man and thought, "I will remember you." That big guy yelled, "What are you looking at?" Chapter 1130, Telling the Bull to Explosion. Chapter 1130, Telling the Bull to Explosion. If one was not ruthless, one would not be able to stand steadily. The system is upgrading and cannot be used. The cultivation technique system had collapsed and was unable to be used. If one's body was severely injured, one's strength would be wasted. In this situation, even 10 of them were not Niu Dashan's match. If he wanted to win, he would have to deal a fatal blow. Long Fei's technique was very dirty, but it was the most effective fatal strike. With great force on his right hand, he shouted, "Who is the king now?" Niu Dashan was in so much pain that he broke out in a cold sweat. "Ah!" Long Fei exerted his strength once again and said gloomily, "Do you believe that I won't pinch your eggs until they shatter?" Gloomy, terrifying. They had never seen such a gaze before, nor did they know that a sheep like Long Fei would suddenly turn into a fierce tiger. Everyone was shocked. Niu Dashan immediately softened and said, "No, no, no. Brother, you are the king. You are the king. You are the king here. If anyone dares to touch you, I swear I will kill them." Niu Dashan was really afraid. He could feel a hidden killing intent from Long Fei. Long Fei's gaze swept across them and said coldly, "All of you better ****, listen up. Right now, your father is king." Finished. Long Fei's hands loosened. He did not retreat, but stared at Niu Dashan. Niu Dashan's hands covered his crotch, and his body trembled as he retreated several steps. Right now, he didn't even dare to look Long Fei in the eye. It was like trying to eat someone. Long Fei slowly swallowed the healing pill in front of everyone. Following that, Long Fei slowly walked back to the wall and sat down. He closed his eyes and kept asking himself, what exactly happened? What's going on? Didn't the system remind me that I've been reborn? This is called rebirth. This is not my body at all. And where the ****CK is this? Long Fei couldn't wrap his head around it, and he didn't have any memories about this world in his mind either. The feeling it gave him was the feeling of teleportation. But Long Fei knew clearly in his heart that this was not teleportation. If this was teleportation, then it would be much more dangerous than the first time, because he could feel the looks of disdain and anger from the surroundings, and they were all staring at him. They couldn't accept it. Long Fei got the upper hand, just like that. Niu Dashan curled up at the side as he screamed in a low voice, TL, Brother Niu, you're letting this kid get the upper hand just like that. Ox bro, give this kid some color now. Ox bro, why don't you let me do it? If I knock him down. As they were discussing, Long Fei's eyes were wide open, carrying a dense killing intent. He said with a heavy voice, "Whoever dares to make the slightest sound, I'll kill them." As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei swept his gaze across. He had to be intimidated, or else he would turn the tables. Now, Long Fei could use his aura to suppress them. Once again, his monkey steals peach definitely wouldn't work. Nyo Dashin instantly stopped his blood-curdling screech, and even carefully controlled his breathing, not daring to randomly let it out. The surrounding people saw that Nyo Dashin had also calmed down, and did not dare to make another sound. Long Fei leaned against the wall and pretended to close his eyes to rest, but he did not dare to do that, as he was on guard at all times. Half an hour later, Nyo Dashin, hearing Long Fei's call, Nyo Dashin immediately ran over and asked, "Boss, what's the matter?" He was truly afraid. Long Fei slightly asked, "What place is this?" Nyo Dashin was startled. "Boss, you even forgot about this place." Long Fei glared at him. Nyo Dashin immediately did not dare to ask any further, and said, "This is Yuanyang Clan's underground fighting underground dungeon." Yuanyang Clan? Water City? Underground combat dungeon? Long Fei felt that all of this was extremely strange. He was sure that this place was definitely not the gods' martial continent from before, but a completely different world. Long Fei asked, "What is the name of this plane?" Everyone was stunned. He whispered, "What's going on? Have you forgotten where we are? Has he been beaten silly?" Someone must have gone crazy. Nyo Dashin let out a heavy cough, and the surroundings immediately quietened down. Reporting to boss, "This is the Chaos Realm." Chaos Realm? Long Fei stared at him. "I'm at Chaos Realm." His face was filled with shock. When the final heavenly tribulation descends, the Tao embryo is released. It actually brought me to the Chaos Realm. Long Fei was secretly shocked, and in that moment, rumble! Long Fei's sea of consciousness suddenly exploded, just like a small universe exploding. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully upgrading the system. System upgrade completed. System, Striking System version 1. 0 player. Long Fei level, 0 holy source, 10 points skill path, none striking value, 100 points lucky value, 10 points war pet, none partner, none sect, God's martial sect, sect leader, in seal. Everything was exactly the same as Long Fei's first teleportation, where the system was upgraded. However, Long Fei did not feel any changes to the system, since the biggest change was he had nothing. However, as long as the system was in his possession, he was not afraid. No matter what the world was, the system was in his hands. Moreover, red light flashed in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for having entered the Chaos Realm and received a special reward. Long Fei moved and clicked it. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Spiritual Void Ring. Rob, this is Lousy's thing to begin with. How can this be called a reward? Can you be any more darned? It was also at this time. The system beep sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hell's 18th floor broken. Do you wish to integrate it into your body? It's mine too. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devouring Vein. Do you wish to fuse it? Damn it! System, can you not be so darned? Would you like something practical? Give 1 trillion of experience to me. Your father will directly stand at the peak of Chaos Realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the main artifact, Dragon Coffin. F***K. It's all my stuff. System, are you messing with me? Cursed, he was truly depressed. Everything was sewn. Could this even be considered as a reward? A scam was more like it. At this time, the system beep sounded out again. Ding! The main artifact, Dragon Coffin, started filling up its energy for the second time, and started evolving. Buzz. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly realized that all the things he had just acquired had changed. A few seconds later, ding! Main artifact, Dragon Coffin, second evolution completed. Seeing that he had completed the evolution of the main artifact, Long Fei's blood started to boil with excitement. This is telling me to go to heaven. He had to force the thing to explode. Chapter 1131, Golden Cudgel. Chapter 1131, Golden Cudgel Main Artifact Dragon Coffin, were divided into several levels of evolution. The first level is where the main gun evolved. One cannon will lock on, who cares if you are South Sky or North Earth, directly kill. However, the conditions for it to open up was 5 domain treasures. It's hard. How many domain treasures did a plane have? To use the first level was truly difficult. What would the second level be? Long Fei had been looking forward to it ever since he had obtained the main artifact. Now that he had opened it, it was not to evolve into a beautiful female warrior, nor was it an upgraded version of the main gun. A shiny stick. A stick that Long Fei was extremely familiar with. A stick that was well known throughout the world. A monkey's stick. It's called the Golden Cudgel. Long Fei was dumbstruck. He was stupefied. If he did not see the 5 big words on the staff, Long Fei would not know. Golden Cudgel. This fucking handsome guy is going to drop to the ground. He's definitely going to go to heaven. It's Great Sage Qiqian's weapon. Immersion needle. I just want to ask, who else is there? Long Fei started to mutter incoherently. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Golden Cudgel. Do you want to preserve the second evolution? Wait. Long Fei did not save it immediately. The Golden Cudgel is indeed strong. With a swing of the staff, it would probably be an existence that will destroy the heavens and the earth. I have witnessed the might of a main gun. One shot broke through the void, passed through several planes, and directly killed the main body. If you were to preserve the second stage of evolution, would there still be the function of a main gun? This is very important. Although Long Fei did not have any domain treasures left, the Chaos Realm was connected to a countless number of lower planes. At that time, it was also possible to open the main gun. Ding! System notification. The main artifact can only keep one state, but it has all the functions. If the player wants to use the first stage, the function can be changed to the first stage. Ugh. Long Fei's eyes shook and said slightly, after evolving, the system will be different to actually be able to explain. Seems like the one. Zero version of the system has improved a lot. The previous system would never have done this. The system looked like it had not leveled up yet, but it was actually completely different. Many of the functions could only be activated after Long Fei activated them. Say Phase 2. Long Fei moved. A flash of golden cudgel halo quietly floated above Long Fei's space ring. If the second stage is the evolution of golden cudgel, then what is its function? The first level is the main gun. What about its functions? Long Fei immediately opened up the system to check. However, 3 days later there will be a large beast battle arena, and the entire city will be watching it. When that happens, you can use your King Kong fist to release a strong breeze. Who would dare to stop you? The butler said excitedly. The people of Water City were very aggressive. There were dozens of underground fighting grounds. Moreover, there was also a huge coliseum in the city specially designed to please the nobles and senior executives. There were beasts fighting, and people fighting. Wang Tai's eyes darkened and asked, "Will the slave number 009 participate?" The steward immediately said, "Young Master Tai, don't worry. He will definitely attend. I have long arranged for him to do so." Wang Tai smirked and said, "All right, brat, prepare to die." The butler took a step forward and whispered, "Young Master Tai, I heard that this time there is still the Yuan Yang clan's Elders Guild. A nominal disciple and an official disciple had two completely different meanings. If he could become an official disciple, then his status would be completely different." Wang Tai's eyes flashed with a trace of light. The corners of his mouth slightly hooked up and excitedly laughed and said, "Hee hee. In 3 days, I must raise the power of the King Kong fist." Chaos Realm, at another unknown place. A middle-aged man closed his eyes and took a deep breath, his face filled with excitement as he muttered, "Chaos Realm, I'm finally back. Finally, I'm back." Chapter 1132. Wah, boss. Chapter 1132. Wah, boss. How can I get out of here? Long Fei asked. He did not want to stay in this cage. Nyo Dashin said, "No one can leave this place. There is only one type of person that can, and that is the dead." That was the fate of slaves. Once you are branded with a slave imprint, you will never be able to get rid of it. Long Fei's chest had a slave symbol on it. They could only be the target of other people's playfulness, a human sandbag. Only the dead would be thrown into the cemetery like trash, torn apart by wild dogs. Long Fei said, "Have you never tried it before?" Nyo Dashin laughed bitterly. The person who tried was already dead, who would still dare to try. At this moment, a strong light shone from the iron cage. A pot-bellied man walked down step by step. In the darkness, he was like a giant lantern shining with golden light. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes suddenly lit up with excitement. "Wow, boss!" Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest. Mission: lead the slaves out of here. Grade: B time, 10 days reward, 3,000 experience points, 300 holy source, 1 special item obtained. Ding! Do you accept? Long Fei didn't even think before replying. "I accept it. Of course I accept it." Seeing the excitement in Long Fei's eyes, Nyo Dashin immediately asked in a low voice, "Boss, what are you so excited about?" Long Fei replied, "Just excited." Nyo Dashin continued, "Boss, don't look at him. The boss hates it when people stare at his face the most. Boss, don't look at his face now." Long Fei did not retract his gaze, but continued to stare at the slave owner, his eyes gleaming and his heart becoming excited. "Chaos Realm's first boss. You still want me to not take another look?" At this moment, a man next to the slave owner shouted and threw out a stream of power. Boom! Seeing that, for some reason, Nyo Dashin stepped forward and blocked in front of Long Fei. Boom! Nyo Dashin's body was sent flying and crashed into a thick iron wall. The iron wall caved in, and Nyo Dashin's chest shook and split open as he could not help but spurt out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei frowned. "Are you all right?" Nyo Dashin wiped the blood off his mouth and said, "I'm fine." Long Fei's gaze turned towards the man who just attacked, and his gaze darkened slightly. The man shouted, "What are you looking at?" Long Fei laughed coldly. "I'm not looking at anything. I just want to remember your appearance." The man's gaze turned cold. "Remember my appearance?" Long Fei replied, "That's right. When the time comes, I'm afraid I'll kill the wrong person. Kid, are you looking to die?" The man's eyes were filled with anger. The power in his hands suddenly moved and was about to strike Long Fei. At this moment, the slave owner said coldly, "Stop." The man beside him immediately retracted his power, not daring to disobey. The slave owner stared at Long Fei and said, "Brat, 3 days later, there will be a large-scale beast. He pushed the man onto the fence. If you can survive him up into the competition, and said coldly, and these people will be able to live well. Trash again, but I will kill you if you understand." The slave owner revealed a sinister smile. The slave's body trembled. The fatty behind you urine dripped, and the trash around you will all die. He quickly nodded and said, one of the slaves immediately said, "Yes, yes, yes. Fighting beasts Long Fei are extremely dangerous." The man sat down on the ground. It's fine if you just let and was so scared 9 die. He almost cried. "Why do you need to bring us along?" Long Fei swept his gaze across the iron prison. Boss, and didn't hear a single piece of trash. Long Fei walked to Nyo Dashin's side. That means he's throwing his life away. Said, "I will use his life as compensation for these 2 strikes." 009. Nyo Dashin said, "Don't implicate us. Don't be rash. If I were you, that person I would just kill myself." The slave owner, "Do you want to survive the beast battling competition? I'm worried about the battle beast. This was an impossible task." No one would let a slave survive because the beast Long Fei would die. The audience in the beast would not battling arena. Even if the audience agreed, smiled the gladiators in the Colosseum would not agree. "I will definitely blow the demon beast up." Would not agree. And then, from the founding Long of the Beast Warrior Guild until said now, faintly, not a single slave had survived. Whoever went would die. Chapter 11. It was simply impossible for Long Fei to return alive. Leveled up at this moment. Nyo Dashin clenched his fists tightly, eating experience, elixir leveled up. "Let him go." "Great. My cultivation is stronger than his martial continent. I can help." Weapons, not waiting for pills, him to immortal finish. Crystals were basically useless here. Eyes turned sinister. These things were similarly restricted by the rules of the world. Stream of energy, and even within the space ring S, suddenly they were the same. It was as fast as one entered this world. Long Fei they would become trash, just like how Long Fei was at the same realm. The difference in cultivation level was back to the gods. They were not on the same level. He would still be in the 9th level of the flying immortal realm. Nyo Dashin in the new plane was sent flying again, a higher plane, crashing into the and with a different power of law, iron wall. Long Fei would have to start. The injury was the even more severe, heavenly tribulation. Several ribs on his chest were broken, as if he had and his face was as pale as thin paper. This was not the case. He spurted a few Long Fei's strength of blood had not changed consecutively, but she had changed the rules of this plane. Coldly laughed, just like the chaos realm. "Well, now the 9th level of the flying immortal stage, you won't be able to participate. The lowest level of existence." Of course. There were also some special things that were not restricted by the laws of the plane. Long Fei, just like the main artifact. If not for someone calling for you to come out, there were also things that came from higher planes. For example, 3 days later, you died. It did not change at all. These people will die with you. Another example. Do you understand? Something that originally belonged to the slave owner's realm and turned away. For example, the expert coldly looked at Long Fei. The black chest revealed a scornful cold across the secret world, and followed him out. Family members had been given to Long Fei, but the experience elixir was still on hatred. It never worked. 009. It was not bound by the laws of the plane. Only if you die at the accumulated experience in the space ring. Long Fei, the corner of Long Fei's mouth, that everyone wanted to live into a smile. Even in a place like this where life was better than death. Devour. So he did not say anything. Congratulations to player. One of the slaves shouted, for swallowing experience. Am I talking to you? You have gained 100 experience points. Not waiting for him to finish. Only 100 experience points. Long Fei took a step forward, and with a move of his right hand, immediately instantly grabbed onto the man's throat. Those people from the Tian family were also from the Chaos realm. So even if they weren't from the powerhouse, they wouldn't have at least 100 experience points, right? This time, the system did not give any explanation. 100 experience points were not a lot, but to Long Fei, no matter how small it would still be useless. I'll accept it. Again, Long Fei then moved his idea and swallowed one of it. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for swallowing experience elixir. You have received 100 experience points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for swallowing experience elixir. You have received 100 experience points. The fifth system beep sounded. Long Fei's experience points instantly rose to 100%, and the system sounded out the leveling prompt. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, yellow level, level 1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up and obtaining a special reward. The reward is Wind God Leg. Do you wish to cultivate it? Surprise! Long Fei's mind moved and immediately said, Cultivate! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training Wind God Leg for obtaining a special reward of 10 experience points. Skill path, Wind God Leg grade, 9 rank deity consumption, 10 holy source S description. A single kick. Shocked. Long Fei's cultivation technique, column, finally had the first cultivation technique. At this moment, Long Fei looked at his personal stats. Player, Long Fei level, yellow rank level 1, yellow, profound, purple, spirit, sun, moon, star, and dawn, 3 sovereigns, sky, earth, and human rank above grade 1 to grade 9. Holy source, 100 points skill path. Wind God Leg lucky value, 10 striking value, 100 war pet, none. Long Fei glanced at it for a bit, and then said, Continue. He began to frantically devour the experience elixir again. Swallowing them one by one, Long Fei's experience rapidly increased. 10 minutes later, Long Fei's level increased once again. 2nd grade, yellow rank. Continue. Long Fei was just like a madman, constantly crazily devouring the experience elixir within the space ring. Another 15 minutes passed. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, yellow rank level, 3. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the top-tier cure pill as a reward. Long Fei took out a pellet and walked to Nyo Dashin's side, saying, Take this pellet. Nyo Dashin was startled. This is a cure pill. As soon as his voice faded, all the slaves in the iron prison surrounded them like a swarm of bees. All of them stared at the cure pill in Long Fei's hands, as if they were all staring at a monster. They didn't even blink, and many of them were gulping down their saliva. Isn't it just a cure pill? Is there a need for this? Long Fei muttered. He looked at the cure pill's attribute, which was a 3rd-ranked pill. Apart from the effects of the treatment, there was no other use. But just its grade was enough to move any warrior's heart in Water City. Not long after that, the 3rd stage cure pill appeared. Extremely rare even for level 3 cure pill. Just because he said he would give it away, too willful. Nyo Dashin felt overwhelmed and quickly said, Boss, I can't. The cure pill are too precious. Boss, you have to participate in the beast gathering. With this pill on your body, you have to have an extra bit of hope in survival. Keep it for yourself. Long Fei shouted, I told you to eat. So be it. Do you still act like a man? Finished. Long Fei pressed his hand onto Nyo Dashin's. His first palm strike had blocked it for Long Fei. No matter how precious this pellet was, Long Fei would not hesitate to give it to him. Nyo Dashin was so touched that she was about to cry. Long Fei said, If you bear this palm attack for me, this pill should be yours. At this moment, the slaves by their sides were all regretting their decision, if they could take 1 palm from 1 cure pill, they would be willing to take 10. After Long Fei threw the pill down, he continued to swallow the experience elixir. 1 hour later, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, yellow rank level, for I leveled up again. Long Fei could feel the changes in his body and his strength every time he leveled up. At the same time as Long Fei leveled up, the power seed in his body also absorbed a huge amount of power, which slowly increased in strength bit by bit. Continue. Long Fei took a deep breath, looked at the remaining experience elixir S, and said, I wonder if I can level up 1 more level. The experience elixir swallowed them 1 by 1. Right now, he needed to raise the level up to 100,000 experience points, which was equivalent to 1,000 experience elixir. 90%. Another wave of experience elixir has been devoured. 98%. When his experience points reached 99%, Long Fei looked at the last experience elixir in his hands. As long as he consumed this pellet, he would be able to level up immediately. But Long Fei did not do so. What did leveling up mean? It meant that he would have to revive once in place and stay at the most critical moment. This was his advantage. A battle beast is a chance. Long Fei secretly clenched his fists and kept the experience elixir away, then asked Nyo Dashin about some things related to the beast battling arena. Following that, an escape plan appeared in Long Fei's mind. No one can leave this place alive. No slave can survive in the city. I can, because my name is Long Fei. Chapter 1134. The Beast Battling Competition. Chapter 1134. The Beast Battling Competition. The next 2 days, Long Fei practiced Wind God Leg. This was his only cultivation technique. He had to fully unleash the power of the Wind God Leg. The more he practiced, the more the surrounding people looked at him with respect. Furthermore, they had been wondering how Long Fei managed to break through. Why couldn't they understand Long Fei? Brother Nyo, how did Boss become so strong? Brother Nyo, what level is Boss at now? Oxbro. Nyo Dashin raged and shouted, Don't King ask anymore. I don't know either. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Brat, come out. The 2 experts around the slave owner walked into the iron prison. They stared at Long Fei with contempt. Today is your good day? Long Fei stood up. In 3 days' time, he was ready. Nyo Dashin grabbed Long Fei and said, Boss, be careful. This cure pill, He did not consume the cure pill, but rather kept it. He was very clear in his heart that Long Fei needed this pellet even more than he did. However, the item that Long Fei had gifted him was never brought back, so he stuffed the cure pill back into the Li Palace's hands and said, You keep the pills, and also, rest assured, I will bring you out of here. Finished. Long Fei then walked out. He walked to the outside of the iron prison. The pot-bellied slave owner laughed coldly, stared at Long Fei, and laughed contemptuously, then said coldly, Put him in the prison. The powerhouse kicked Long Fei in the back. Get in. Long Fei did not wait for him to kick his body. With a slight movement of his body, he walked straight into the cage. The powerhouse's foot failed to hit him, and his expression changed. This was the bloodiest, most the slave owner did not take it seriously, place, and said, Almost go to everyone in the city had come. They Water liked City, that kind Duke of violence, palaces, hoped that young Master Beast's violence, the news is indeed the blood true, of humans, that and enjoyed that really kind of go to the beast feeling. Battling arena Elder to watch a show. Why come to such a low-class excitedly? This is a place where some slaves are fighting with the lower class. My chances come. There are no good as long as I become an official, simply dressed Yuan Yang clan. Puzzled, I want to destroy Water City. He was simple and unadorned. One of the guards walked into with a dull expression on his face and said softly, "It was impossible to tell that just there was anything special about him that old Master sent over." A wave of flames started not to let him down this time. From under his feet. Wang Tai was overwhelmed. Those who were close to him were pushed away, looking at the force of their own, excited King without Kong anyone noticing. He said, "This was the Go back and tell my father. Yang Yu I definitely won't let him down." In this selection of Yuan Yang with clan, this pair of gloves, I do not have a single martial artist I can take below out. Yellow level 6. All of the better disciples by me in the 18 cities below his King Kong Yang clan have been taken away. Already been cultivated so perhaps to a certain there will realm be a surprise here. If it was combined with this what pair kind of surprise is this place? He would be genius disciples within all the same realm, powerful blood vein, beast fighting this arena, kind of slave in the center this kind of Water lowly City person simply doesn't have any kind of blood vein talent. Then the follower grinned and said, "Chaos Realm. The Blood Vein was the king. Blood Vein decided to be a genius. Slaves usually did not have any Blood Vein inherent skill and could only be toyed with and played with by others. Yang Yu also knew. However, this was the last city in which he had gone down the mountain to search for the 18 cities. He had secretly observed all the slightly famous young geniuses within the city, but none of them had met his requirements. Today was the last day. If he couldn't find it, then he could only give up. Yang Yu sat down and said, 'Anu, since you have arrived, please rest assured. If not, just treat it as a competition to relax. Wind God leg. Wind element refinement. Let my speed drive the strength, and I'll shatter it in one blow.' Long Fei continuously simulated wind god leg in his mind. After 2 days of hard work, his wind god leg proficiency had already reached level 2. His understanding of the wind god leg deepened. Suddenly, a voice echoed, 'We are here.' Long Fei slightly raised his eyes. The black cloth on top of the cage was lifted, and around them was a damp and gloomy room that reeked of feces. The entire room was filled with the hair of demon beast. Clearly, this was not a place to imprison people. Long Fei said, 'This should be the place where the demon beast are imprisoned, right?' The powerhouse found it funny and asked, 'Are you human? You're just a slave. Imprisoning you in the demon beast's room is your first time thinking highly of you. You must know that Trash's life is worse than a demon beast's. Do you understand?' Trash. That powerhouse was filled with disdain. Long Fei slightly said, 'One more word.' The powerhouse laughed. 'Trash. What's wrong? You want to kill me? If you have the ability to do so, you might as well survive the doe beast meat. Trash.' In his eyes, Long Fei was already a dead person. No slave could survive the beast battling arena. No one. Long Fei's eyes darkened as he stared at the powerhouse. Clenching his fists tightly, he said coldly, 'Don't worry, I will look for you. Brat, do your best. Your life will determine the lives of your fellow prisoners. Don't let our boss down.' The powerhouse laughed in disdain, and then he laughed and said, 'By the way, young Master Wang Tai asked for you to participate in the beast gathering. This time, he will let you have a taste of the King Kong fist.' Ha ha ha. Finished. He walked away. Wang Tai appeared in Long Fei's mind. His eyes turned sinister as his killing intent surged. The best way to greet a world was death for Long Fei. 'I will use my blood to greet this world. Use your blood to let the people in this world know that I'm here.' Long Fei leaned on the wall and waited quietly. His mind continued to calculate the wind god leg every time. In the arena, it was extremely lively. Cheers came one after another. A host shouted, 'Battle Beast Association, begin.' Chapter 1135. Berserk upgraded. This is awesome. Chapter 1135. Berserk upgraded. This is awesome. The first round. 3-star Benwolf against 8 yellow rank level 3 slaves. As soon as his voice faded, the iron gate was opened in a flash. Roar. A wolf twice the size of an adult lion dashed out. A halo surrounded its legs, and its fur stood erect like steel needles. The moment he rushed to the center of the Colosseum, he let out a roar. Roar! It was as if he was venting his emotions. He was the king here. In another place, 8 yellow rank, level 3 martial artists were pushed out. Their faces were pale, and they did not dare to look straight at the 3-star Benwolf in the center of the field. The moment they were pushed out, the 3-star Benwolf's eyes sunk, staring at the 8 people, water dripping out of its mouth, its front claws slightly digging into the ground. At this moment, its body rushed forward. Ha ha ha! It's here, it's here. How long will it take this time? I'll bet it won't take more than a minute. I bet 30 seconds. This 3-star Benwolf hasn't been fed for 7 days, and these 8 people will be eaten by him in an instant. Ha ha ha. That's good enough. Eat them. Eat them. The 8 of them did not dare to resist at all, and immediately fled the moment they saw the 3-star Benwolf pouncing towards them. But the door was already blocked, so they had no way out. Roar. Crack. One by one, the warriors' heads were bitten off and fresh blood spurted out. The sky wolf bit off their heads, and with a kacha-kacha sound, its entire body was swallowed up. Then, his speed changed, and he instantly changed his direction. Shwa, another warrior, was pushed to the ground, and he took a bite. Crack! Seeing the blood spurt out, the whole field was filled with cheers. The bloodier the blood, the more excited they were. Here, the law of the eating of men was even more vivid. No one would sympathize with the weak. In less than 30 seconds, all 8 warriors were eaten by the 3-star Benwolf. The fresh blood made them even more vicious, and in the end, the iron gate opened. The 3-star Benwolf walked slowly, like a king, back into the cage. Cheers broke out from the crowd. The following matches were all the same. Slaves against demon beast. The slaves were completely defeated, and all the slaves were ripped apart by the demon beast. Not a single one of them were able to survive. Every time, the audience on stage would be in an uproar. Boom. The next battle will be between our Water City's Duke Palace's young Master Wong Tai and a slave. As soon as he finished, the crowd immediately began to discuss this. Who's so unlucky to actually be able to fight against Wong Tai? This slave has really been struck with bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Ha ha ha! Wong Tai is a genius of the Water City and is even a disciple of the Yuan Yang clan. Water City Royal Palace was one of the strongest forces. Wong Tai was even the little genius of the Water City. Last time at the underground fighting arena, he did not manage to beat Long Fei to death with 3 punches, which made him very unhappy. Today, he wanted to fight Long Fei with his right fist and then challenge those demon beasts, wanting the Yuan Yang clan elders in the audience to prove himself. Wong Tai walked out from the passage, facing a proud smile. The other one, Long Fei, was pushed out of the arena by a wall and slowly walked to the center of the Colosseum. Looking at the corpses, bones, and blood, he smiled slightly and said, "This is the world I like." Ha ha! The more brutal and tyrannical it was, the more Long Fei liked it. He was a wolf. He was born to kill. In the instant that he stood in the center of the arena, he slightly raised his eyes, looked at the sky, and revealed an excited expression. At this moment, Wong Tai walked up, his entire body covered in armor. His pair of gloves were exceptionally eye-catching. He stared at Long Fei and sneered. "You bastard, last time you were lucky. This time I will kill you with 1 punch." There was a look of pride on his face. He was a noble in the Water City. He was born to be superior. Long Fei's expression changed as he stared at Wong Tai, and he said coldly, "I said it before. I will remember you." Wong Tai let out 2 heavy punches and said, I will make you always remember me. When you reach Yama, just say that I was the one who killed you. Boom, boom. Two powerful forces roared out. The sound of the King Kong fist. King Kong fist. The Wong family's third-rank cultivation technique. The King Kong fist. Furthermore, Wang Tai is wearing a set of King Kong fist. Then one of his punches would have been instantly killed. Instant kill. Instant kill. I want to instantly kill. The two fists that were as fierce as King Kong struck towards Long Fei's chest with unstoppable force. Moreover, Wang Tai's cultivation was at the 6th stage of the yellow rank. This punch of his was enough to wash away his shame, and he was determined to inskill Long Fei. If I don't instantly kill you, just consider it my loss. Kid, tremble under my King Kong fist. Extremely arrogant. However, Long Fei sneered. Is the King Kong fist awesome? Is a grade 3 cultivation technique incredible? The 3rd stage of the Chaos Realm is already so powerful. Then have a taste of my grade 9 divine martial arts. As soon as he finished, Long Fei's feet moved like the wind. He suddenly stepped forward. Shwa! His figure transformed into a gust of wind. His right leg formed a whip as it fiercely swept downwards. Grade 3 cultivation technique. What about a grade 9 divine art? The difference was too great. In the audience, Yang Yu suddenly stood up, his eyes stared straight at Long Fei, his mind tensed up, and could not help but say, so fast. Rumble. A kick landed on top of Wang Tai's head. A burst of power shot out. Crack. Wang Tai's body could not take it anymore, and fell down on his knees. The kneecap shattered, and fresh blood spewed out. Ah! It screamed like a pig being butchered. In the air, Long Fei's body froze in place. His right leg swept out, and with a flip of his body, his left leg swept out, heavily kicking at Wang Tai's neck. Boom! The power shot out. His body immediately flew out and continuously somersaulted. With the last loud sound, Wang Tai's head smashed into the wall, and half of his body hung outside. The health point above his head instantly bottomed out. A magnificent inskill, simple and crude. After these two KO moves, the entire scene of Long Fei being so handsome that he fell to the ground in pieces, the power of the wind god leg was so strong that it exploded. What was violent? This was it. Everyone could not react in time. Was this something that a human F** king did? They were all stunned on the spot, and their heads were turning numb. The entire beast battle arena was quiet, only hearing the fresh blood from Wang Tai's body dripping down, one drop after another. The system beep rang. Long Fei moved a bit and released her striking energy value without hesitation. This is the first person I killed in Chaos Realm, so I naturally have to release my striking value. Explode more violently for me. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Wang Tai for obtaining 890 experience, 50 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining King Kong Fist. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the King Kong Fist set. The system beep suddenly stopped here. Long Fei immediately said in bewilderment, Damn, this is Berserk. F***CK. You F***cur. I'm going to rape your grandmother. It was at this moment. The system beep sounded again. Ding. Players released their striking energy value and obtain special items. Please choose the Domain Treasure Series, Water God Treasure Series, Heavenly Mystery Series, Game Series, Cartoon Series, Wyman Series, Myth Series, Mecha Series, Universe Unknown Series. Please choose. Long Fei was confused. Damn, is this the upgraded version of the striking system? You can still choose for yourself? Heavens, I'm going to explode. Ha ha ha. I want to choose. Chapter 1136. Berserk. Chapter 1136. Berserk, there were too many things. How to choose. Long Fei was troubled because every single series was filled with enticement. Domain Treasure, the energy source of main artifact. Water God Treasure, Primal Chaos Diagram. Dong Huang Clock, Demon Refining Gorge, 12-rank Golden Lotus. Secret Treasure of the Heavenly Court, 9 Dragons True Chi, Power of Myriad Tribulations, its Myriad Beasts. Game Series, Hero Alliance, King's Glory, Guardian of the Vanguard, Legend of the Red Blood, Magical Beast, Journey to the West, DNF, CF. Animation Series, One Piece, Flame Ninja, Fey Tail, Death God, 7 Dragon Pearl, Steel Beast. Women Series, X-Men, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Thor, Invincible Hulk. The thing that made Long Fei the most curious was the unknown universe. The unknown universe should be the technology of the future, but it could also be that of an alien planet. What could this be? Long Fei did not know either. However, what he needed the most now was combat power. He needed a strong power to ensure his own safety. In this chaos realm, who clearly displayed his power as a man-eater, the first thing Long Fei needed to do was to live on. What should I choose? Games, anime, domain treasure, even myths. It was as if Long Fei had decided to become a phobia. Fuck, close your eyes and randomly pick one. Long Fei really did not know how to choose. He wanted to choose every single one of them, but he could only choose one. And then, closing his eyes, the idea moved and randomly clicked on one of them. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for choosing Wyman series. The system beep rang. Long Fei's heart tensed up. The Wyman series, those superheroes in American movies. Who would they go crazy with? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering level 1 striking energy value and obtaining Invincible Hauka S energy. In that instant, a syringe appeared in Long Fei's mind. The injection was a green liquid. Item: Invincible Hulk number of times. 0 of 3 description. Once a player uses it again, it will turn into an Invincible Hulk, allowing them to unleash 100% of Hulk's strength and defense. Ha ha ha. Unparalleled Hulk, that green monster in short pants. Hee hee. Long Fei became excited. Amongst the superheroes, she seemed gentle and refined, and was even a doctor. However, once she went berserk, no one could stop her. At the same time, Long Fei listened to the system beep carefully and muttered to himself, level 1 striking energy value. Could it be that my energy values can still be accumulated, and I can still level up? System notification. The striking energy value can be raised. The higher the level of each item raised, the more items there are. System notification. Secondary Violent Ghost's energy values is 1,000 points. Understood. Long Fei laughed in his heart. This will be fun. Just wait until I kill a few tens of thousands of demon beasts and level up to the highest level. What will happen to me when I go berserk? Ha ha! The explosion of striking energy value meant that something had dropped from another world. Right now, if Long Fei thought about it, it was possible for it to appear. Even it really could burst out with a beautiful female warrior. This is great. Long Fei shouted excitedly. It was also at this time. The beast battling arena erupted into cheers. Ha ha ha. Too powerful. He managed to kill Wang Tai in 2 moves. What cultivation technique did he use just now? The 2 kicks are invincible. This slave is amazing. Ha ha ha. Water City's little genius was instantly killed. How much is this slave? I'll pay 10,000 taels. I bid 100,000 silver. They didn't panic as soon as Long Fei killed him, nor did they mock him. They despised him, but they were excited and cheered as they didn't care who died. What they wanted to see was violence. They worshipped the powerhouse. This was the Chaos Realm. A simple, rough world. They were all cheering in excitement, but the members of the Wong clan were incomparably furious. He shouted loudly, "You bastard, you're courting death!" Rumble! At this moment, a door suddenly opened. The entire audience went silent. The 3-star Benwolf, which had killed 8 people, came out from the dark tunnel. In the darkness, its eyes shone with a green light as it stared at Long Fei. He stared at his prey. 3-star Benwolf. Ha ha ha. These are all fun. 3-star Benwolf versus slave. 3-star Benwolf's strength is comparable to a yellow rank level 6 peak realm. What cultivation level is this slave at? He definitely won't be able to withstand it. Rip him. The audience was in an uproar. They all stood there staring at the center of the field. The 3-star Benwolf had never lost since they came to the Beast Battle Arena. It ate people for a living. In this short month, the number of people that died at its hands reached 100. Incomparable savagery. His sharp fangs flashed with a cold light. The moment he walked out, he roared towards the sky. Ow! It was as if he was saying to Long Fei, "This is my territory. I am the king." It was just that. As the 3-star Benwolf was roaring, Long Fei rushed forward quickly. With a smile, he said, "I don't care how many stars you are. I just want to kill." It means experience energy values. Compared to God's martial continent, Long Fei needed energy values even more, killing 10 points for killing and 1 point for killing Demon Beast. Moreover, the current him desperately needed experience points. He's disappeared. A voice came from the audience, and Long Fei disappeared. The next second, in front of the 3-star Benwolf, Wind God leg. Boom! A heavy kick landed on the dire wolf's throat. Crack! The sound of bones cracking could be heard. The 3-star Benwolf's body trembled and was forced back. Waves of painful screams came from its throat, but it could not cry out. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly and said, "You sure are cocky for lousy." Without waiting for the 3-star Benwolf to stand firm, Long Fei's speed changed again. Wind God leg. Shwa. An incomparably sharp technique, once more charged out. Boom. The head of the 3-star Benwolf swept down. Crack. The skull exploded. The 3-star Benwolf heavily kneeled down and directly knelt in front of Long Fei. Long Fei sneered coldly. "Do you still dare to be arrogant?" The 3-star Benwolf's eyes were filled with rage. He had never been so angry before. However, Long Fei would definitely not give him any chance. The moment the 3-star Benwolf kneeled on the ground, Long Fei moved both his fists, putting the King Kong fist on top of his fists. He aimed at the cracked skull of the Sky Wolf and smashed it down heavily. King Kong fist. Explode for me. Rumble. When its HP fell, the 3-star Benwolf rolled over and spat out a mouthful of blood, then fell to the ground, dead. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing 3-star Benwolf, for obtaining 1,000 experience, 100 holy source, and 1 energy values. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, yellow rank, level 5. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special leveling reward. The reward is a Berserk lottery. Wild explosion. Chapter 1137, League of Heroes Cannon Tower. Chapter 1137, League of Heroes Cannon Tower. Wild explosion? This is a new lottery system? Long Fei was a little excited. Everything that had to do with the word Berserk was impressive. Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva heavily and said, "Open the Berserk lottery." Buzz. An interface appeared in Long Fei's mind. In the interface of the slot machine, there were a variety of items. Each item was a super item, and each item was extremely valuable. Game characters, a game item, a divine treasure, super cannon. It could be said that this Berserk lottery draw was even larger than the ones produced by Striking Energy Value, and that there were even more of them. Wow. Wow, it's my heart. System, I'm in love with you. Do you want me to love you more? Long Fei was just about to say something. Then come and draw more Berserk. Who knew that before he could finish his sentence, the system would say directly, I don't want to. Long Fei. Just when Long Fei was excited about these, the stands were once again filled with shock. These people all looked as if they were about to go crazy. His mind was spinning, and he couldn't turn around. How could a mere slave do this? Isn't this too unbelievable? Is this person really a slave? Don't talk about slaves to me. He's my idol now. Have you ever seen such a ferocious slave? So handsome. Just who is this person? Yang Yu's face was full of excitement. Good, good, good. Yellow rank level 4. No, that's not right. He just instantly broke through to yellow rank 5th rank. For his cultivation to be able to do this, that's too amazing. He's really fierce. His strength is fierce. Fierce, his followers said. Elder, but his cultivation is too low and completely does not meet the standards of our Yuanyang clan. Furthermore, he is a slave without any gifted vein, and this kind of martial artist has no future. At most, he is only a black level warrior. Slaves, identity subterranean, lowly person. There was no future in being looked down upon by anyone. No matter how powerful a person was, it would be useless. At most, he would be the one laughing in the arena, and that was it. It was impossible to enter a clan or even a sect. Yang Yu did not understand, and said, Anu, do not underestimate a slave. The gifted vein is important, but that heart of yours that has become stronger is even more important. At this moment, boom, 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 the iron gates of the Colosseum were opened, and more than 20 ferocious demon beasts rushed out one by one. Ha ha ha! A group battle. All the demon beasts have been released. Kill that slave. That's interesting. That slave is not yet alive in this beast fighting arena. Does he want to make history? Then we should give him a good slap. Ha ha! They did not care about Long Fei's life or death. What they wanted was pleasure. He knew that Long Fei would not be able to hold on. The strength of this demon beast was so strong that even a yellow rank level 9 could not defend against it. If he didn't act, Long Fei was definitely going to die. However, in Yang Yu's heart, what was the limit of Long Fei's limits that he wanted to know? He wanted to know what Long Fei's potential was. Huff. Yang Yu exhaled a long breath, and in the end sat on his seat and did not move. Kid, let me see what your limit is. This was a situation where death was inevitable. Everyone knows. When the butcher attacked, Long Fei could not resist at all. They know. Long Fei himself was very clear that the hierarchy in the Chaos Realm was stronger than the god's martial continent, so he could use the speed of the Wind God leg to kill Wang Tai. The two small levels were not bad. Once it surpassed, Long Fei would not be able to kill it. The lottery system was still spinning, and the results had yet to come out. Long Fei's heart sank, and he shouted, Kick him first, then talk. Wind God leg. Long Fei was as fast as lightning as he ambushed them from amidst the rolling dust. Bam! With a kick landing on the butcher's chest, Long Fei's body sank. His right leg was almost broken from the impact. The butcher did not even move an inch. His huge eyes stared at Long Fei. He grinned and grabbed at him with one hand. It was also at this time. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for obtaining the Cannon Tower of the Hero Alliance. Are you free? F***CK. Chapter 1138 Status. Chapter 1138 Status. F***CK. Hearing that, Long Fei was so excited that he shouted vulgarities. The heck? He can even hit the turret. I'm going to King admire myself. And then Long Fei said without hesitation, Release. Shoot these bastards. The idea moved, releasing the turret drawn in her mind. Boom. In the center of the Colosseum, there suddenly appeared a cannon tower that was exactly the same as the one in the Hero Alliance. At this moment, Long Fei moved. Destroy these sons of bitches. Hurry up. Buzz. Long Fei's right arm became numb and fell down from midair. The butcher's hand grabbed onto Long Fei, and with such a strong power, Long Fei was unable to move. All the bones in his body were about to break. It was extremely uncomfortable. The audience roared with excitement. Eat him, eat him, eat him. Ha ha. He's going to die. It's his honor to die at the hands of a butcher. Let the slaves rest in peace. Butchers, butchers, butchers. At the same time as they cheered, someone asked a question. What is that statue in the middle of the field holding a magical staff, like thing in its hand? Why did such a thing suddenly appear? What the hell is this? They didn't understand. In the entire Chaos realm, perhaps only Long Fei knew what it was. The butcher stared at Long Fei, who had revealed a head on his fist, revealed a disdainful smile, and said clumsily, the butcher screamed, I want to bite off your head, as he swung the stone axe in his hand. Without waiting for him to hit Long Fei, he opened his big mouth, a stream of energy shot out from the cannon tower. At this moment, boom, after the turret fell to the ground, severed his arm. A surge of power blasted out from the turret, Long Fei stood on the mouth of the butcher's head, his gaze sweeping across, and asked, You like watching this flame burst out from the butcher's mouth? Come. Now I'll show you guys enough. His fist let out a painful scream. He threw a punch at the butcher's releasing his hand. Long Fei jumped with a loud noise, and the butcher's head was smashed open. Damn it, it's my turn now. Quickly depleted. The idea Long Fei took out his bloody fists. The turret. He roared out and locked onto the butcher. Who else is there? Combo attacks. An arrogant and domineering of heroes spread out. The turret had entire battlefield was completely suppressed. It didn't have a large range. The entire beast battle arena was silent. Everyone stared at Long Fei with their eyes wide open. It was also quickly blasted out. Ding! Cannon congratulations to player landed heavily on the butcher's chest, killing butcher, smashing him against the wall and crushing him to death. 230 the amount of blood on the head of the butcher values rapidly decreased. Congratulations to player arrogant Long with your father for obtaining the butcher's stone axe. 2 system notifications sounded out. Does the show look good? Huh? Long Fei roared once again. That guy who likes to watch people being killed by Demon Beast was already on fire. Right? Let's see how you guys get another chance to be arrogant again. Demon Beast. His right Long Fei's gaze was gloomy as he rushed directly placed the butcher landing on the head of the butcher and spoke to the Demon Beast. All of your pressure. Do you want to eat these people who were playing with you? Eye of yours, right? Do you want to start a massacre? With a move of his Demon Beast, the power of King Kong as if they understood his words. Long Fei grinned. His eyeballs were about to pop out. Then let's just act unbridled. As soon as he finished, the situation became chaotic. What does he want to do? What is he trying to do? Don't worry. This beast battle arena is over 10 meters tall. No matter how powerful these demon beasts are, they won't be able to reach here. Indeed, to Long Fei, these demon beasts were like ants in water, unable to rush up at all. There was no need to worry at all. However, that was before. Can't rush up? Long Fei smirked as the idea moved to control the turret. It faced a thick wall and ordered, Bomb it for me. The energy of the turret rotated and began to come crashing down. Boom, 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 boom. One shot after another. At this moment, everyone on the beast battling arena started to panic. Half a minute later, the high wall immediately opened up a path to the top. This time, forget about Demon Beast S. Even 5-year-old children could climb it. It was also at this time the holy source value in Long Fei's body flickered with a red light. It was also at this time that Long Fei noticed that the turret was a holy source that had been used up. Now, the holy source was exhausted and could not be used anymore. Long Fei did not care about all these. This was an excellent opportunity for him to escape, and was also the reason why Long Fei did not kill these demon beasts. The demon beast walked to the front of the passage, one by one. Crap! My God! Quickly run! Guards! Guards! Quickly block them! Roar! A demon beast roar sounded, and it started to attack. He leaped 3 steps forward and rushed to the stands almost instantly, tearing a human apart in one bite. At the same time, the whole venue started to stir up chaos on a large scale. He no longer had the cheering expression he had on when he was watching the show. Long Fei stood in the center of the arena and coldly laughed. Don't you like watching people play? Continue watching. Didn't you want to see your father being torn apart by the demon beast? Who is being torn apart by demon beast now? Long Fei was not in a hurry as he walked towards the front step by step. In the dark, the powerhouse beside the slave owner frowned and said, "Master, do you need me?" The slave owner's eyes were cold as he said, "No need. It's hard to catch him now. I didn't expect him to become so tough. It seems his power has awakened." The powerhouse's expression changed slightly as he said, "Sir, if your power has awakened, then the identity of this 009 is—" The slave owner's eyes slightly narrowed and said, "Chaos Realm's #1 power. Hellgate, Junior Master." Chapter 1139, Green Giant, come out. Chapter 1139, Green Giant, come out. Water City was in chaos. More than 20 demon beasts killed a group of spectators. The number of people they killed was very small, and most of them had been crushed to death. Boom. Lord, this is the 23rd demon beast, and also the last one. 8 fully armored guards carried a demon beast and walked over. A middle-aged man frowned with an extremely displeased expression. He was the master of the Water City. He was also a former disciple of the Yuanyang clan. Shin Tianha, the beast battling arena, was his biggest business and his most important source of income. However, after doing this, the beast battling arena had basically been destroyed, and what made him even more unhappy was that after this event, the citizens, families, and nobles of the Water City would all be dissatisfied with him. If Yuanyang clan were to find out about this, then they would question his management ability. He had no way to explain who it was. "Where's the slave?" Shin Tianha's eyes turned sinister. One of the guards said that slave will take advantage of the chaos and blend it into the crowd. Right now, it will be difficult to find him. I wonder if he left the city. Not waiting for him to finish, Shin Tianha slapped his face and shouted, "Useless trash! You can't even find someone! Pass down my orders! Search the entire city! We must find him! I want to hang his head in the beast battle arena." Shun Tianha was extremely angry and hated Long Fei to the bones. In another place, Yang Yu frowned. What exactly is that building? Why did they release energy cannons? What is it? Anu, you know? Anu said, "Elder, you've asked me 180 times. I really do not know. I have never seen that kind of thing." Yang Yu said, "Do you think it's an explosion of the blood veins talent?" Anu shook his head and said, "There are many kinds of blood vein inherent skills, but do you have any building blood vein inherent skills? I've never heard of it." "Elder, now is not the time to think about this. The day of the Yuanyang clan's disciple selection is coming soon. We have to hurry back. If the great clan elder discovers us, we will be punished." They had snuck down the mountain this time, Going down the mountain without permission was the trigger for the clan's rules. Yang Yu did not mind Anu's words and asked, "Where do you think he's hiding?" Anu grinned. "I don't know where he's hiding, but I know that Water City's city lord Shin Tianhe will definitely not let him get away with it. He will definitely kill him in the search of the entire city." Yang Yu was startled and said, "Then I'll stay." Anu was startled. He looked at Yang Yu and said, "Young miss, you are crazy." Long Fei laughed excitedly. At this moment, the powerhouse and the owner of the slave walked out of the room. The slave owner stared at Long Fei. Long Fei was also looking at him, drooling like a demon beast looking at its prey. After that, Long Fei calculated the size of the man in the courtyard and muttered, "Not bad, striking energy value can be accumulated once." The owner of the slave laughed coldly as he looked at Long Fei. "I didn't expect you to deliver yourself to me." Long Fei laughed. "If I don't kill you, how can I leave in peace?" The powerhouse laughed playfully. "Brat, you think that just because you can kill Wang Tai, kill the 3-star Benwolf, and kill the butcher, you can act presumptuously here? Ha ha ha. You are overestimating yourself. Do you understand?" At this moment, Long Fei did not have a holy source. His holy source could only be replenished by killing people, monsters, and pills. Moreover, although the turret had been retracted back into his body, without the holy source, it was still impossible to release any energy cannons. Without the holy source, there was nothing he could do. However, there was one thing he could do. Long Fei sneered as he looked at the powerhouse and took out a syringe. He poured the green liquid into his arm. It was barely a third of the original amount, not even an ounce more. Following that, the genes in Long Fei's body started to mutate violently. Long Fei sneered, "Overestimating yourself. Let's see who has overestimated himself. Green Giant, come out." Chapter 1140, Boss, break for me. Chapter 1140, Boss, break for me. The muscles on his body bulged. It grew bigger, turned green, and its muscles became muscles bursting out with pure energy. He clenched his fists. Boom! An explosion sounded in the air. He picked up the butcher's stone axe and swung it over his shoulder. He snorted and stared at the powerhouse. "You are overestimating yourself." "What a monster." What exactly is this guy?" "This is a monster." The sturdy man in the courtyard was so frightened that his legs turned weak. The strength from Long Fei's body, his skin, and his dense chi were all crushed to the point that he felt extremely uncomfortable. The powerhouse felt his heart tremble. He swallowed his saliva and asked, "Master, is this the power he used after he awakened?" The slave owner was also dumbfounded. He only knew that the Hell Gate was very powerful, and the young master of the infernal realm was very powerful. However, he did not know what kind of power Long Fei had. Terrifying, the slave owner shook his head and said, "Stop him." Even if his power were to awaken and transform again, he would only be a yellow level 5 and would not be that strong. Before he could finish, Long Fei's voice disappeared, and a string of green illusions rushed out. "Is that so?" He grabbed Powerhouse by the throat and raised him up into the air, staring straight at the owner of the slave. He smiled. "Isn't he strong enough?" Bam! Smash! The powerhouse did not even have the chance to retaliate and was smashed into the ground. He was dizzy and dizzy, his eyes shining, blood spurting out from his mouth as he said with difficulty, "Master, how is this not strong enough?" Not waiting for him to finish. Bam! He was sent flying again. Bam! Bam! The scene was a complete mess. Long Fei said, lightly, "Do you still remember what I said to you back then? I said I'd kill you when I came out. Your father's words always count." Boom! Boom! After a few more heavy blows, the person could not withstand the power of the green giant at all, allowing his cultivation to be much higher than Long Fei's. However, he was just a weak chicken in front of the green giant. There was no longer any arrogance. The HP bar on top of his head rapidly bottomed out. A system notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Little Luo. Reward: 1,900 experience points, 140 holy source, 10 energy values. Killed. It was exceptionally refreshing. So, what if his cultivation is higher? So, what if there were more people? Don't be cocky. If you are, then you will die. Furthermore, Long Fei was so excited in his heart, he thought to himself, "It's so good. The power of the green giant is so good. Ha ha. No wonder his destructive power is this fierce. The upgraded version of the striking system is too much." This was the attribute of the striking system after it had leveled up. There was no need to not know. Once used, even Long Fei himself would be afraid. The damage of the explosion from the green giant, the cannon tower of the Berserk lottery, was something that Long Fei wouldn't even dare to think of, yet it had been a mere few days since he entered the Chaos Realm. This type of feeling could only be described by one word: awesome. Ha ha ha. Chaos Realm. F*CKU. Main Temple. Heavens, 9 days. Don't worry, I will kill you one by one. The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up into an excited smile. The striking system's growth had made Long Fei even more excited, as long as he had this striking system. So what if he had a sovereign? Don't give him a chance, or else he'll flip through once. Long Fei's gaze darkened. He stared at the shivering slave owner and laughed coldly. "Relax, it's not your turn yet, don't be too afraid. It's my boss." "Finished." Long Fei's voice sank and heavily shouted, "Did I let you leave?" Those lackeys were scared out of their wits by the scene just now. They wished they could grow a few more legs to run out, but without waiting for them to run out, Long Fei shouted. Next, a green blur moved, grabbing a strong man and ferociously attacking. Crack! The neck was broken. The system beep rang. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 800 experience points for killing Little Luo, 50 holy source points, and 10 energy values points. Crack! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 800 experience points for killing Little Luo, 50 holy source points, and 10 energy values points. Ding! One punch, one punch, one punch, one kill. There was no way for him to survive. Long Fei did not show any mercy to these people, who knew how many slaves he had killed, and how many vicious people he had killed. All of a sudden, his experience points was going wild. The holy source value was recovering. His striking energy value was quickly returning to full. Boom! After the last subordinate Luo was killed, Long Fei's gaze turned and stared at the slave owner, who was so scared that he could not move, and laughed. "Now it's your turn." Plop! The owner of the slave knelt on the ground and said, "Junior Master, don't kill me. I am only following orders. I beg you, please spare me." He was now certain that the youth master of Hellgate in front of him had completely awakened. The seal in his body had already been broken through. Right now, no one could resist him. Once he returned to the Hellgate, perhaps. Long Fei did not react to the words Junior Master, nor did he think about the identity of this body. In any case, he was him, and he was God's martial countenance, Long Fei. Long Fei laughed. "I'll spare your life? Ha ha! Didn't you always want me dead? Who's going to give me equipment to spare your life? Spare the boss life? What a joke!" It wouldn't be a big deal to spare a boss, but a brainless person was more like that. Suddenly, the system sounded out. Ding! System notification. There is still 10 seconds left to the effect of unrivaled Hauka. Long Fei felt a shiver in his heart. I can't waste any more time. At this moment, the slave owner saw that Long Fei did not have any intention to let him go. His eyes revealed a sinister look. He rushed forward and bellowed, "You are not forgiving me. I will not let you go either." "That's more like it. This is what a boss should look like." Long Fei sneered. He moved the butcher's axe in his hand and swept towards him ruthlessly. Boom! The two forces collided. Long Fei's body retreated half a step as he thought to himself, "This is bad. The less time there is, the weaker the medicinal effects will be." The slave owner was sent flying. He couldn't waste another second. Long Fei put down his stone axe and rushed forward. He grabbed the slave owner's waist and used all his strength to shout, "Break his waist!" The slave owner struggled as he screamed. Crack! With a hug of his arms, the slave lord's spine broke. His body was paralyzed as he slid down from Long Fei's chest. It was also at this moment the strength of the green giant on Long Fei's body was weakening rapidly. Die! Long Fei grabbed onto the last bit of the green giant's power and punched down. When his HP fell, so did his blood. The owner was dead. Long Fei plopped down on the ground, his face full of excitement. "Release your striking energy value. Bring it on. Explode for me." Ding! Chapter 1141, The Unknown Series of the Universe, Fishing Rod. Chapter 1141, The Unknown Series of the Universe, Fishing Rod. The system beep rang. 100 points of level 1 striking energy value disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for getting 5,000 experience points for killing Slave Master, 470 Holy Source points, 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Hell's Token. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining First Pin Healing Pill. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining It's All Rubbish. Was disappointed, but the slave owner was just a little boss that did not drop anything good. So Long Fei had mentally prepared himself. Right now, he only cared about the explosion of his striking attribute. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for releasing striking energy value, obtaining a Berserk special item, Domain Treasure Series, Water God Treasure Series, Heavenly Court Series, Game Series, Wyman Series, Anime Series, Myth Series, Universe Unknown Series. Please choose. Long Fei rubbed his hands, swallowed his saliva, and was a little excited in his heart. Looking at the series of events, Long Fei once again fell into a state of fear. What should I choose? 2F*CK. Next time, Lousy will definitely give him energy values of 80,000. Lousy will use this as the lottery draw. So the series has some descriptions. Other than the one series, the universe series, all he showed were question marks. Longfei muttered, I killed a boss. Description. Logically speaking, this fishing rod can be thrown into the unknown void, some good stuff, allowing it to travel through time and space to catch all living things. Choose the universe's all living things in this world. Your father's large fishing rod can even pierce through all living things in the world. Player confirmed that you have chosen the universe unknown series. All living things in the world. Congratulations to was player. A little contemptuous. Then the idea moved its level body. 1 berserk energy. I want to see how you managed to fish for all unknown fishing rod. The idea controlled the unknown fishing rod. And threw it fiercely. What the hell? Just as the item had described, was a little the long line on the fishing rod was thrown into the endless void, which seemed like a huge lake surface you're not going by the rules. Sound. What's the point of giving Lousy fell into the air? And then, moreover, silence. This unknown fishing rod waited for a few seconds, made from but bamboo. There was no reaction just from like the fishing rods from ancient times. What bullshit asterisk? This is an unknown fishing universe. I don't know what the Go F ahead and screw yourself. K is with long you, or the F asterisk K, and at the same time, in the universe, changed back to his original appearance by her side. He was truly unhappy. However, he had thought that the universe like unknown series was all about incomparably uncomfortable, or something superb like dark matter or technology. Longfei exhaled deeply. This was a broken fishing rod. He looked at the sky. Thinking about it. We cannot stay here for long. Felt Let's finish the mission first. Was there such a thing as a entire city was looking for him? Sighed bitterly. If he was caught, and then the idea he probably wouldn't be able to leave here alive. Of the unknown fishing rod, quickly walked towards the dungeon in the backyard. Fishing rod grade. As for the unknown fishing rod, Longfei had forgotten about it. He didn't even think about it, because if he wanted to, he would probably have to greet the woman from the system again. A berserk opportunity, wasted just like that. 2F asterisk King stupid. Really irritable. Longfei was not a patient person. When he entered this place, he immediately used the energy liquid from the Invincible Hulk to kill a whole bunch of them. If he could have dealt with them with one punch, he would not have used the second. Fishing required patience, and Longfei was not suitable. However, with this lesson, even if he was beaten to death, he wouldn't so easily choose the universe's unknown series. This was too darned. What? Where did he go? All right. Send my order down. Send all the guards over immediately. Shen Tianhe's gaze turned cold. Brat, today, I will make sure that you will be eternally doomed. Water City guards quickly gathered and surrounded Longfei. At the same time, Wang Shanhe also received the news. They were also rapidly mobilizing their disciples and rushing towards the direction of Longfei's courtyard. Eldest miss, Elder, are we really going to wade in this muddy water? Anu muttered with her small mouth, but she was 100% unwilling, and said, Shen Tianhe will definitely not let him leave here alive. With Shen Tianhe's cultivation, even 100 yellow rank level 5 are not his match. I think we should forget about it. Yang Yu suddenly stopped, her eyes shining brightly, and said, That's right, if we saved him, wouldn't he be thanking me with tears of gratitude? In that case, of course he'll come with me. Ha ha, I really am a genius. There were 8 black lines on Anu's forehead. He no longer wanted to talk with Yang Yu. Yang Yu was completely engrossed in his own world. I must have him. I want those senior brother-s to prove that it wasn't just them who can find the genius disciple. I can do it too. Humph. Anu, hurry up. Yang Yu urged. Her pace quickened. Boom. After the iron prison split open, Longfei stood in front of the prison door and said with a smile, I said that I would come and save you, right? Niu Dashan was stupefied. With a face full of worship, he looked at Longfei and said, Boss, you're too awesome, aren't you? What are you waiting for? Hurry up and leave. They couldn't believe what was happening in front of them. Many of them thought They were dreaming that there was someone in this world who could save them. Long Fei urged them to recover. All of them were grateful and rushed out of the cage. When they all walked out of the dungeon, one by one, and entered the courtyard, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations, player, Long Fei, for completing the quest with 3,000 experience points, 300 holy source. You have obtained a special item. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special item, double experience card. Huh. Long Fei was shocked and laughed. Double experience card. This thing is awesome. It was also at this time. A voice traveled into the backyard. The people inside, listen up. You have been surrounded. The two words kill, 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 kill. Even if you saved the two words 1 second ago, he might just turn hostile the next. Kill, Dashin bellowed. Listen up. What the fuck are you saying? The rest of you are surrounded. Long Fei smiled. Put down your weapons. There's no need to surrender. I've already rescued them. When these two sentences came out, as for the rest, was a little confused. It's up to them. Damn, if it were not for completing the mission, following other than Neo Dashin, she would not have saved these people. Can you blame others for being quick? The mission is complete. The explosion from the green giant of these people had alarmed nothing to do with him. How could it be hidden? Long Fei didn't want to care about it. Neo Dashin immediately asked. However, boss, what's the situation? Some people just like to be despicable. Everyone looked at Long Fei. If you don't screw their mother, they had no idea what was happening today. They won't know that you're their father. Nor did they know who was surrounding them. And said, in their hearts, 009, they thought it was the people from the slave owners. So great. Long Will you Fei save us for no reason? In his mind, do you dare to say about how to use the double experience card? If you want us to be cannon who was surrounding them, then just say so. I think it's exactly the City Lord's mansion. What do you take us for? And the Wong family. Do you really think you're that great? He said it in a very casual manner. But someone like you worth our gratitude? Listen to him. Who do you think you are? Thunder striking all of them heads. Pointed at Long Fei. Even the way they looked and at scolded him was different. Long Fei's mouth guard from the City Lord's mansion on the slave who spoke just now. His figure moved. With a single step, he appeared of the Yuan clan. His hand grabbing onto his throat as he coldly spoke. Be my cannon What's fodder? Going on with the people? You don't even have the qualifications to be my cannon fodder. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? Do you understand? They all started to get scared because they knew what kind of person Shintianho was and what sort of identity he had. Player. Provoking him in the water city notification was equivalent to provoking death. Long Fei swept his gaze across them and coldly shouted. Long Fei still looked indifferent. The fifth level of the yellow rank just was enough to crush these slaves. The beast battling arena immediately let go of all the demon beasts, not daring to let out even half. I'm afraid those demon humans were like this. Will not kill anyone. If they were afraid, they wouldn't even dare to fart. Killing people or monsters. When they were scattered, now, his mind was filled with thoughts of how to use broken the double experience and a large group of armored guards was too tempting. None of you are allowed to leave. Well, in another place, the upgrade would be like riding in front of the main entrance. However, the Wong family disciples had also rushed of those who had followed him out of the dungeon. A dozen slaves stayed in the backyard. Other than the entire backyard, all of them retreated backwards to Long Fei distance between them. It should be a few dozen if it is combined with the double experience card. And said, then it should be able to level up. Right? Boss saved us. So Long Fei surrounded by this excited smile. There was killing intent. We should all unite to fight our way out. Those slaves, there's no need to be afraid of anyone, begging for mercy. Lord, we didn't do anything. You're powerful. It was all you should go out with him. We don't want to die. You aren't afraid of death. We didn't do anything at all. We are afraid of death. We would rather live in the dungeon for a few more days than die with this madman. Long Fei found it funny because of their slavishness. He's a madman. The leader of the guards walked over. I think he saved us because he wanted us to be his cannon fodder, and said, besides, the looks on their faces instantly changed. Lord, you never know what people are thinking. Lord, we are brothers with 009. Don't kill us. Boss, save us. Save us. At this time, Long Fei didn't even spare them a glance, because they no longer had the qualifications to let Long Fei take another look. Ah! Crack! Blood splashed everywhere as miserable screams filled the air. In the blink of an eye, over a dozen slaves were killed. The guards all had cold expressions on their faces. Killing someone was like killing a chicken. They didn't even bat an eyelid. In their eyes, slaves were not human at all. It was the same for Long Fei and Nyo Dashin. The lives of slaves were like grass, but the lives of slaves were even worse than grass. What kind of world was this? Long Fei understood her better. Chaos Realm was a world filled with blood. This was the world that he liked the most. The commander coldly said, "Dog slave, are you obediently coming with us? Or should I do it? I'll give you a word of advice. It's best if you don't let me do it. Otherwise, you will only have half your life remaining." Very wild. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all, and those eyes of an expert moving about carried cold contempt. Long Fei was unhappy. Nyo Dashin moved closer to Long Fei, asking softly, "Boss, what do we do?" Long Fei moved and clicked on the double experience card. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating the double experience card for an hour. And then the corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked into a death god-like smile, and he said, "2 words, kill them all." Chapter 1143, next. Chapter 1143, next. With that, a figure appeared. Long Fei's figure moved, and the grade 9 divine, art wind god, leg swept out, directly kicking onto the body of one of the armored guards. The guard was forced to retreat. However, Long Fei did not let go of this opportunity. Both of his fists moved, and the King Kong fist set combined with the King Kong fist, attacking the guard's chest quickly, just like how Yuan possessed his body. Bang, bang, bang. Blood spurted out of his mouth as a string of damage figures rose up into the air above his head. Boom! His body flew backwards and crashed into the wall. Die! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Water City Guard for obtaining 13002 experience, 100 Holy Source points, 10 Energy Values points. Double EXP burst. Double EXP. Long Fei laughed excitedly in his heart. Sweeping his eyes over, he said arrogantly and domineeringly, "Next!" Arrogant beyond belief. The surrounding people were all dumbfounded. Nyo Dashin had become so strong in just a few days. It was also at this time. The guards were all infuriated. The leader of the guards shouted, "City Lord has given the order to resist. Kill him." The guard moved. All of them drew their weapons and stepped forward, locking the encirclement in half. On the other side, the elite disciples of the Wang family were also preparing to take action. "I, Nyo Dashin, am also here." Nyo Dashin's strong, 3-meter-tall body charged forward like a small mountain. He roared out, "Boss, kill." He gave a hug and threw one of the guards into the air. It was also at this moment Long Fei's right foot shot out, and he flew into the air. His right leg swept across ferociously, smashing the guard onto the ground, bending his knees, and suppressing the kneecap firmly. Critical hit. Puchi. The guard's body caved in as he spat out a large mouthful of black blood. The gash on his head also quickly became visible. The system sounded out yet again. Ding. Long Fei said excitedly, "Next." Too arrogant. The commander was exceptionally angry. After 2 of his bodyguards were killed, his anger was also boiling. With a step forward, he instantly appeared in front of Nyo Dashin. He leaned on his shoulder heavily. Boom. Nyo Dashin fiercely retreated backwards. The commander rushed forward again, and in that moment, he unsheathed the blade at his waist and slashed towards Nyo Dashin's head. It was too fast. However, this speed was a bit slower than the wind god leg. Long Fei's legs moved, borrowing the power of the wind god. He kicked away the blade in the commander's hand, and then kicked again. Boom, boom, boom. The power of the 9-ranked deity tier cultivation technique was unleashed to its limits by Long Fei after painstakingly training in the dungeon for 2 days. When the wind god leg reached the 2nd realm, The power that exploded would naturally be different. Even if the guard commander's cultivation was much higher than his, the crushing pressure on his cultivation technique caused the commander to be caught off guard. The commander was pushed back. Long Fei also took the opportunity to flip backwards, landing beside Niu Dashan. He glanced at the amount of blood on the commander's head and muttered in his heart, "Damn, what a strong defense." The series of wind god legs, explosive kicks, did not deal too much damage. Could it be that he has defensive equipment on him? No way. With my current strength, killing him will be a little difficult. I have to hurry and level up. Long Fei's mind flew. There was only one way to obtain greater power. Upgrade. After pushing back the commander, Long Fei laughed with contempt. You want to kill me? Even if your dog's hit city lord himself came, it would be useless, let alone you. The moment he spoke, Long Fei quickly grabbed one of his guards and bombarded him with King Kong fist. The commander's expression turned ugly. Being looked down on by a slave was a great humiliation to him. He roared, "You dog, today your father will cripple you." Kill. Everyone attacked together. Boom, boom. All the guards surrounded him and attacked with all kinds of power. Niu Dashan followed closely behind Long Fei, firmly protecting his back. As the Water City guards struggled to kill Long Fei, the encirclement of the Wang family's elite disciples also shrunk. They would also definitely not let Long Fei escape. On the roof, Yang Yu and Anu watched the scene quietly. Yang Yu was an individual who liked to not admit defeat the more he opened the door. He had an imposing aura that no one was afraid of, and as he watched Yun Che fight in the crowd, he asked softly, "What is your limit? Or do you mean you have no limit at all?" She wanted to know, how could a slave without a gifted vein be this strong? Moreover, the feeling Long Fei gave her wasn't that of a slave at all, but that of a wild and unruly giant demon owl, who hated evil like it was his enemy. Anu said in a low voice, "Clan Elder, he is about to die. Are you going to save him or not?" Yang Yu looked at the Long Fei, who already had many wounds on his body, and said faintly, "He can still persevere. To save someone, you have to do it at the most critical moment. Only then will he be able to remember my good points and be grateful to me. Only then will I be able to make excessive requests." Ha ha! The great senior brother taught me this. Actually, Yang Yu was even more curious to know just how long Long Fei could endure for. From Long Fei's expression, he didn't care that he was injured at all. He didn't have a look of despair in his eyes. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Water City Guard for obtaining 13,002 experience, 100 Holy Source points, 10 Energy Values points. His energy values had reached a full 100 points. However, Long Fei did not have the mind to care about all this right now. As long as he made a slight clone, Chapter 11 be hacked to death the first time on the Golden Cudgel. Chapter 1144. Just you two. The first time on the Golden Cudgel. I want to see how long you guys can hold out for. You're dead meat. The guard commander stood at the side with a cold that Long Fei's back was continuously being attacked. Don't give them a chance to catch their breath. Dashan was already more than 20 guards sped up their attacks. Long Fei no longer had shot a glance at the commander in the distance, and he was going to die soon. Blind, the commander laughed, complacent, just a small slave like you is fighting with me. Don't be so cocky. You don't even have the qualifications. I'll come and kill you later. Do you understand? Mountain, you dared to approach our city lord palace and said, even your family's 18 generations of ancestors, Niu Dashan leaned his body forward, opened his eyes wide, and like Long Fei's entire body stared at one place before fiercely crashing. From the commander's point of view, Long Fei he was already not far from death, and had reached the end of his road. Sweep the enemy. Long Fei did not stop. Long Fei shouted, even though without caring about his life, emitting red Niu Dashan rushed forward and knocked over a large group of guards. However, causing them to flip their horses over. Still did not stop. Long Fei continued to crazily attack and started to Yang Yu stood up, stared at the bloodied Long Fei, and
Fan,
frowned,
saying,
at the same time,
"I can't let him
the
die
guards
here."
on the other side quickly
grabbed
attacked
onto Yang Yu
as
said,
well.
"Elder,
The blade
look at
slashed
him.
through
He's
Long Fei's
already
back.
so injured
The skin
that he
was
can't
ripped
be
apart,
saved anymore,
and the cut
even
was
if you
so
can save
deep
him,
that
he'll
one could
still
see bone.
die.
The back
We'll
of
talk
his
about it
shoulder
later.
was
He is a
continuously
slave.
injured.
The
Long
slaves
Fei
in the
acted
chaos
as if he
realm
did not
are
feel
not
any pain.
qualified to
His
enter
legs
any
did not
sex
stop moving,
and don't have
and
the
continued to
qualifications
strike
to cultivate in the martial way.
Each
You
kick
are not
becoming more
allowed to
severe
bring
than the
him
last,
into
causing
the
more
Yuan Yang
damage.
clan. Just
Miss,
a little more.
please listen to
Just
my
a little
advice,
more,
and
do
I'll
not
level up.
bother with this matter. Although Shen Tianhe is not in the Yuan Yang clan, he has many connections there. Why do you need to offend him for a mere slave? This is not good after all. Anu advised she could not let Yang Yu lose his head. Slaves were slaves, lowly level people. In this world, slaves did not have the qualifications to train in martial arts. They had even less right to enter a sect. Even if Yang Yu saved Long Fei, she wouldn't be able to bring him to Yuan Yang clan. Moreover, it was really not worth it to offend Shen Tianhe's power for a mere slave. Yang Yu didn't care about all that. The person she wanted to save did not care about who she was. She wanted to save him. However, just as she was about to fly down, there was a sudden change in the yard. The commander was still laughing wildly with pride and contempt. "Trash, stop struggling. You're about to see the king of hell. In your next life, don't provoke me, or else I'll kill you again." Ha ha. Just when he was laughing arrogantly, Long Fei's fists exploded, directly blowing one of the guards' head off. He stood still on the spot, the corners of his mouth raised with a hint of a smile. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Water City Guard for obtaining 13002 experience, 100 Holy Source points, and 10 Energy Values points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, yellow rank, 6. The moment Long Fei leveled up, all the wounds on his body instantly healed without even a scar. A long crack appeared on the ground. In his body, the crack fully looked filled, like it was made by a divine sword. The value and was of the holy extremely source, sharp. Completely this recovered. Was the first time the golden cudgel had attacked. Long Fei's neck lightly not to mention the people around as his joints exploded. Even Long Fei himself was a little baffled. Another series of critical explosions resounded. Do you need to be he so coldly fierce? Stared at the commander. Do you have to be so pointed a finger at his face and said, "Isn't this a bit too much? It's your turn." He was truly shocked. His strength, the commander of a level 9 Long Fei's attributes, had also become stronger by a bit. The buildings within 1,000 meters of the city at this moment were reduced. The most important thing was that everyone was running out from the streets. None of them shouted, "Why Long Fei?" Earthquake was not dead at all. An earthquake. Furthermore, moreover, all the wounds on his body were naked people who scolded, as if he was not injured at all. I just crawled onto a woman's bed, no matter how good and I haven't even entered the cave. It would not be able to achieve I'm already this. Like this. In the instant when these people were also stunned, you actually climbed into my wife's room. He heavily kicked the commander in the chest. The commander's expression changed. At the same time, and his reaction was slower by half a beat. Had woken everyone when he felt Long Fei's strength. Water City. His heart felt a wave Several of shock. Disciples of large families has become quickly reported. That's this not damn right. Slave is too arrogant. His cultivation. I can't let him go. He just made a breakthrough disturbed from my beautiful dream. I will kill him. The commander's Whoever mind breaks was in my mess, I'll fight with them. Without waiting for Long Fei to make his second move. And then he suddenly rolled on the public outrage, dodging Long Fei's continuous Water City. His eyes darkened as he said, Long Fei's position, rank 6th pen, brimming with killing intent. I didn't expect you to break Long through Fei in looked at the golden cudgel in his hands. Then looked at the stunned elite he still has to die in front of family, and the Water City guards moved as Long Fei laughed sinisterly. The power of yellow kill crazily. Level 9 golden cudgel out. His speed was as fast as lightning. You're tuning in to the mystic sense and idea. YouTube could not keep up with Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. His heart trembled slightly, and he thought to himself,